Very nice.
No te rías.
No, I have to come up.
Déjame echarme un poquito para acá.
No, you know that out of courtesy.
No. Look, you don't have to take it.
You know me already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it down with you.
I call everybody on Mondays.
I know that you do. Pero por eso te digo, I really follow you.
No, tranquilo.
Ok, sí.
Olvídate de eso ya. Todo eso está cayendo, ¿no entiendes? Tenemos tiempo.
Okay, so I don't know you. Nice to meet you.
Ray,
Claudio Miró.
Let's meet you. I'm gonna give you one of my
You
cards.
know,
No, I don't.
Martí, José Martí.
José Martí.
How are you?
You work with somebody from the county. You trabajas en bombero
Yeah,
Kingston?
yeah.
Leah Jackson.
Oh my God. How do you know Leah?
Bueno,
You know Wilbur?
I met Leah first. Leah, I used to date a Mexican firefighter. I was roommate with Leah. I was 21.
Marcos Osorio.
No.
I know him from.
Let me hear around.
Turn the microphone.
I was 21.
We were all 21 at one time.
I was 21. I met Leah. Dated a roommate. Didn't wait.
Was it a bad one or a good one? Because it was a good one I sang. The bad one was gonna be. Just in case. I want to be
He's still there too.
covered.
Marcos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He got all the way up to the top.
No, he's doing deputy.
I don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, see.
Pero te fue bien que-
No, me fue bien.
Just so you guys know, like appointments are like all the way at the end of the meeting. Or maybe we can move them up. I do too.
Hi, how are you? Where are you?
I'm gonna.
Oh, thank you. Oye, Ray fantastic. Que no están sentados.
Eso permanece.
Bolsa. Yeah, it's Marco. The mayor, the person that sits there.
She's signing in for me.
Hey,
I like this that you're sitting next to me, bro.
Believe me, I love it.
I like this.
we're gonna be here a long time tonight. Dios mío.
Nah, it's man. Second reading.
Tiene que ser residente.
Damn, that look like gay with long hair. Right? I used to look like this. I used to have long hair and be skinny.
¿Deseos?
Vete.
That's a great one.
That is el malecón.
Eso es.
That is el malecón.
Puedes comentar sobre.
No, she's for. No, but for anyway.
Just update. My computer está más mal que yo.
Hey,
Estoy. All right.
Eso para que tome café. Okay, we're about to start 8 o'clock, guys. All right. Regular commission meeting. Meeting date Monday, July 11, 2022. At 8 p.m. Commission Chamber, 500 Southwest 109 Avenue. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Clerk will note the absence of Mayor Lopez.
Okay. Everybody stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance and stand up for their invocation. Marcos, you want the invocation? I
Pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for gracing us with the ability to serve our residents, to serve you, Jesus, to serve in the capacity as community leaders. Give us the strength and give us the wisdom to vote with the utmost interests of our residents. Please continue to protect our law enforcement, our firefighters, paramedics, and the greatest military on earth. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, special presentation. A presentation of proclamation to Enrique Zamora, Commissioner Villanueva.
Mr. President, if I can, just for time's sake, I think we have some speakers that want to speak, so I'll go ahead and yield my time to those who wish to speak in public comments. With your permission, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, with that say, I'm gonna go ahead and, Mr. Attorney, can
Yes,
I
sir.
go through the whole employee of the month and all that, or I'm gonna go ahead and,
Public comments first.
You can
comment first.
move the public comments to
now.
to this point, which would be the new item 5, and then at that point, once the public comments are done, then you can continue with the old item 5, which is presentations. Actually, it'll be item 4, which is a special presentation. So you can just go with the public comments now and then continue with Commissioner Villanueva's presentation.
Okay, so we got, public comments, and I'm gonna call the, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna do public comments. First, we got Carla Alvarez, please.
Might need
Carla, state your name and your address, please. Diga su nombre y su dirección. ¿Y usted lo va a decir en inglés o en español?
En español.
She's gonna need a translator.
Yeah. Anybody want to translate? ¿Alguien está puede translate? You want to do that? Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate that. Señora, cuando vaya a hablar, diga su nombre, su dirección y hable 2 o 3 palabras para que ella pueda traducirlo para que esté en el record, ¿ok? Go ahead.
¿Son de la casa o de...?
O de negocio, no importa.
Carla Álvarez.
Carla Alvarez, dirección
11476
11476
West Flagler Street,
West Flagler Street,
Miami, Florida,
Miami, Florida.
33174.
33174.
Ok, go ahead.
Adelante.
Mi esposo y yo tenemos un pequeño negocio en Sweetwater.
My husband and I have a small business in Sweetwater
Hace 40 años,
for 40 years now,
sin ningún problema.
without any problems.
En el 2020 no se pagó el certificado de uso.
In 2020, we did not pay the certificate of use.
Nos dimos cuenta hasta el 2021.
We didn't notice until 2021.
A raíz de eso,
As a result,
tuvimos problemas.
we had problems.
Pagamos una multa,
We paid a fine for $500,
155 el permiso, la aplicación.
$155 for the permit for the application.
Me exigieron unos planos.
They asked me to submit new plans.
Todas las inspecciones pasaron menos una.
We passed all the inspections except for one,
Fue la plomería.
and that was for plumbing.
Entonces me dijeron, el señor Manny Salazar,
So Mr. Manny Salazar told me
tenía que buscar un general contractor.
that I had to find a general contractor.
Nosotros lo buscamos.
We looked for one.
Entonces pagamos las inspecciones.
We paid for the inspections.
Entonces el señor, perdón, yo recibí una llamada del señor Manuel Salazar porque yo vine a buscar al alcalde.
So I received a call from Mr. Manny Salazar because I had come to see the mayor.
Recibí una llamada del departamento de complaint. Recibí una llamada del departamento de complaint.
That he received a call from the complaints department.
La señorita Janet Santiago
Miss Jeanette Santiago
me dijo que el señor Manuel Salazar quería hablar conmigo.
told me that Mr. Salazar wanted to speak with me,
Y yo fui.
and I went.
Y me dijo él que si volvía a hablar con el alcalde,
And he told me that if I spoke to the mayor again,
iba a ir a mi negocio, me iba a encontrar violaciones y me lo iba a cerrar.
that he was going to go to my business, he was going to find violations, and he was going to close me down.
Tiene que hacer una carta a poder con la firma de todos los dueños.
You have to do a power of attorney with the signature of all the owners.
Cuando el problema era con mi negocio, Álvarez Alain.
When the problem was really with my business, Alvarez Alignment.
Aparte de eso,
Aside from that,
los planos que estaban aprobados,
the plans that were approved,
Me dijeron que no estaban aprobados.
Now they told me they weren't approved.
Y aquí tengo las pruebas.
And I have the proof here with me.
Pero nuevamente el Señor sigue molestando.
But once again, Mr. Salazar continues to bother me.
Mando a sacar los permisos porque el techo tiene una gotera.
I got some permits because the roof has a leak.
Y me dice que la carta puede romper porque es plomería.
And he tells me that the power of attorney is no good because it's plumbing.
A una carta notarizada tampoco me la acepta.
Did not accept a notarized letter either.
En cualquier momento se me cae el techo.
Any minute now, my roof is going to collapse.
A ver si ustedes me podrían ayudar.
And I want to see if you're able to help me.
Okay, that's it? Es todo? Okay, gracias. Anybody, I want to go ahead and call everybody, and then if you guys want to put up.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
does anybody wish to rebuttal that?
Yeah, I would, go ahead. Go ahead. I would go ahead and I would let it go. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Manny Salazar, please, so he can do his version, because we only hear one side.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Manny.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Manny.
Good evening. Well, I don't know where to start. Yeah, that's true that her CU had,
Who are you, sir?
oh, I'm sorry, Manny Salazar, I'm the building director, City of Sweetwater. So, yeah, that's very true. She had her certificate of use expired. In the course of the inspections, there was an illegal bathroom that was not conforming. So the problem is that the plumber could do the plumbing work, but the walls and whatnot that had to be moved to accommodate and make it legal, a plumber is not allowed to do. That's the reason she was asked to get a general contractor. On the roofing, it was at that time that we ran into the situation that there are several owners and several people that have to sign on all permits. Her roofing permit was simply just, we asked her, listen, the other people that need to sign the permit need to sign. It's that simple. I don't know what to say, I don't know how to address the other part, because number one, Janet is not my secretary. Janet does not work in my department, so Janet called her to set up a meeting with me. Janet is not my secretary. Janet would never make a meeting for me. So I just don't know how to respond to that.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, if I may, Mr. Salazar, first of all, those are very strong allegations. And somebody who comes from a law enforcement background, I take allegations very seriously. The fact that I know you, I know your work, I know you personally, I find the allegations very hard to believe. But nevertheless, we're going to be the finder of fact here. Señora, su nombre otra vez.
Ana.
Señor Álvarez, a usted le gustaría, and I'll translate, a usted le gustaría tener una reunión en el Building and Zoning Department con el señor Manny Salazar y un testigo? Okay, I asked Ms. Alvarez if she would like to have a meeting with Mr. Salazar in the Building Department to try and resolve this issue with a witness. Okay, vamos a estar en comunicación con usted y vamos a tratar de resolver este problema. We're going to be in contact with you and we're going to try and resolve this issue, okay?
Thank you, Marcos.
Cuando el Señor me amenazó.
Prefiero no, ya lo que has dicho es suficiente fuerte, y lo único que te voy a criticar cuando uno hace ese tipo de alegaciones, prefiero que no lo hagas en un setting público, aunque lo puede hacer en su derecho. Usted ha hablado conmigo sobre esto, te digo la verdad, yo no lo creo sobre este hombre, pero estoy aquí para servirle a usted. Lo que voy a hacer es, voy a tratar de tener la reunión con usted y el señor Salazar para tratar de mantener tu negocio abierto, tener todos los permisos para que puedas seguir manejando tu negocio. Ese es el hecho. Ahora, yo personalmente te puedo decir algo. Puedes ir a la Comisión de Ética, a la Fiscalía, al FBI, a la Unidad de Corrupción de Miami-Dade, porque corrupción no lo vamos a soportar en esta ciudad. Ya hemos tenido más que suficiente. Espero con eso vea la sinceridad mía y que estamos tratando de resolver su situación. ¿Ok? Do you need me to translate all that?
No, that's okay. Thank you, Marcos. All right, thank you. Thank you, Manny. All right. Next, we got Carmen Benitez. Carmen? How you doing? Say your name and your address for the record,
Sure.
please.
My name is Carmen Benitez. My address is 8625 Northwest 8th Street, apartment 415, Miami, Florida 33126.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. I work with USP, which is Urban Partnership Health. It's a nonprofit organization. We work with the Department of Transportation of Dade County. And I've been going to like the police department, I've been going to International Mall, Dolphin Mall, and we're really concerned about the elderlies. They don't have transportation, a lot of them, they don't drive. They don't have any knowledge of technology, so we're just trying to help them out. We have different mobility projects, and next time when I come, I'm gonna bring you more papers and more proof to what we're doing as a nonprofit organization.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's it, Carmen?
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Welcome to Sweetwater.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next, Juan, okay. JC Bermudez. Sorry.
Never heard
Mayor,
of
please,
Thank
your name and your address for the record,
Thank you.
please.
Juan Carlos Bermudez, 10769 Northwest 70th Lane. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, members of the commission, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's great to be here also with one of the Doral employees, and Ms. Benitez, whose sister actually is one of my constituents, so, and so many other friends that are here tonight. I just simply wanted to take a minute to thank you all for supporting me and endorsing me. It is deeply appreciated. I want you to know that I wanted to say it publicly. I know we had the opportunity to meet earlier today and take a picture, but you know, I look forward to representing District 12, which encompasses Doral, Hialeah, West Hialeah, Hialeah Gardens, Medley, obviously the unincorporated area of Belen, and the great city of Sweetwater. So you've got my commitment that I'll be back, hopefully as your commissioner, and that my door will always be open, and that your support for me is deeply appreciated, and I'm very thankful, and I want to say it publicly. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it. Good luck. All right, next, Ariel Rodriguez. Ariel again, name and address for the.
Yes,
for the-
good evening. Ariel Rodriguez. I live at 1226 Meadowlark Avenue, Miami Springs, Florida. So I'll be very quick. So my name's Ariel. I'm running for Miami-Dade Circuit Court Judge. I went to the same law school as Mayor Bermudez of the city of Doral, and I just want to simply introduce myself since we have a very important election coming up during the primary season on August 23rd. Born and raised here, grew up in East Hialeah. I'm an East Hialeah kid coming from a working class family. I went to Monsignor Edward Pace, graduated in 1990, and I attended Cornell University and Notre Dame Law School. I've been an attorney for about 24 years. I work with the Department of Justice right now. We overlook all the bankruptcy cases where we look for bankruptcy fraud and other issues in our district. And I'm just here just to introduce myself to the community since it's a countywide race. You know, we need the public to be educated about the judicial races in the county because to me it's very important. Judicial races is an overlooked race for many people, so we just ask the public to educate themselves and learn more about all of us in this upcoming season. And you if you want to get more information about me, you can look me up at arodriguez4judge.com, and I ask for everyone's support on August 23rd. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Ariel.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, Lori Yara? Jean. Thank you, Judge. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Couldn't read this one.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Lodi Jean. The easiest way to remember it is Jean, like blue jeans. In French Creole, it's Lodi Jean. I was born and raised in Haiti.
And can you state your address, please? for the
Oh,
record?
so if it's okay with you, I'm just going to let you know I live in Coral Gables.
Okay.
I can give my work address,
That's fine.
1351 Northwest 12th Street,
Thank you.
Miami, Florida, 33125.
Thank you, ma'am.
As I was saying, I Haitian American. I became the first Haitian American woman to serve as a judge in Miami-Dade County. I sit in the criminal division now. I was a lawyer 14 years before I was appointed. I was vetted by the Judicial Nominating Commission. My name was sent up to the governor's office. I was appointed in 2018, elevated in 2020. I like to think a good litigator makes a good judge, and my background is in litigation. I talk about being from Haiti just to let everybody know that it's always in the forefront of my mind that I get to contribute to a functioning system of government here. My mother still lives in Haiti, so I'm very well aware of what's going on there and what we have here. I'm also on the ballot on August 23rd. My group number is 3. There's other candidates here. We're not against each other. My ballot number is 91, and as Ariel said, no one really pays attention to the judges. We're at the end of the ballot, and I humbly ask for all of your support. If you Google me, I'm the only Lodi Jean in Miami-Dade County. I am, literally. And I just ask that when you all vote, consider me, and also tell your friends and family, because the judiciary is very important, and we all deserve qualified, experienced judges and those that serve us with integrity. So again, Lodi Jean, it was nice to meet you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. All right, next one is Robin Warren?
Robert Watson, close enough.
Watson, okay.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Name
Thank you for
and-
the opportunity.
Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Judge Robert Watson. I have the pleasure to serve our entire county on the circuit court. I live in the city of Miami, and my work address is the Richard E. Gerstein Criminal Courthouse downtown. I've had the pleasure to serve for the last 3.5 years. I was a litigator at Holland and Knight, and then served our community as a federal prosecutor for 5 years. I was appointed by Governor Scott to the county court, and after a year elevated by Governor DeSantis to the circuit court. I've been serving in the criminal division for the past 2.5 years, presided over a number of jury trials, and now am seeking the support of all of your constituents as well as everyone in the county to continue serving our community. I'm proud and grateful to have been endorsed by a wide variety of organizations, from the Teachers Union to the police organizations, as of today, Latin Builders Association. So I'm proud to have support from different interests all across the spectrum, because people understand it's very important to have quality, dedicated judges on the bench. So I hope to earn the support of all of the citizens of Sweetwater. My number is number 93 on the ballot, and I thank you for the opportunity to address you and your constituents. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you for being here, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, last, and it's going to be Eduardo Suarez. Mark?
Before anything else, I'd like to ask the commission. My comments are all concentrated on item W, first reading ordinance. Should I
Yes,
do it? Should I
I-
do it now or wait when we are discussing that ordinance?
If you want to do it now, because we already got it, I already talked to city clerk on reference. I think this is the new item. City clerk? This is the one that he's talking about?
W.
No? Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. You can go
Yes.
ahead and talk about it now, yeah.
What item was
What item are you
W, item W.
RMW. Yes.
Okay, I'm Eduardo M. Suarez. One.
This is the attachment, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, the
Eduardo.
attachment.
It's the attachment. Yes, sir.
11332 Southwest 7th Street, Sweetwater, Florida. My comments are related to, first of all, good evening.
Thank you.
Commission President, Commissioner,
All right, Commissioner.
City Attorney, City Deputy Clerk. My comments are related to item W, first reading of the ordinance that is addressing the requirements to be a member of the Planning and Zoning Board. And I have comments and a couple of questions at the same time. On the first whereas of the ordinance, it says that historically it has been a voluntarily position. It's not exactly true, because currently, or for the last few years, the members are being paid $100 per meeting attendance. On the whereas down below, it says, whereas the language of 8.04.02 parentheses A has been approved by the Planning and Zoning Board. I am a member and chair of the Planning and Zoning Board, and I had never approved that on the Planning and Zoning Board. The first time I hear that is when Commissioner Vallecillo issued a similar ordinance, that then it was changed to this ordinance. But not, in my opinion, it didn't go through the Planning and Zoning Board. Okay. In section 2, down below, it says, members of the planning and zoning board shall be residents, and then underline, which is addition, and electors of the city who have resided within the city not less than 2 years and be U.S. citizens. That is the addition. I always think that the deletion is always included in the proposal, so everyone knows how it was and how it will be.
Sir.
And then can study, research, and make the correct decision. Before, which is not included here, the deletion is absent, says shall be residents and freeholders of the city. That was deleted. And just for your information, I would like to read to you the definition of freeholder from dictionary.com. The owner of a freehold, a registered voter who owns local property and has been a local resident for a specified length of time. That is going to be deleted and changed for what is currently in the proposal. I just want to make these comments, and I know I'm running out of time, so you can do research and make the right decision. And make sure that we don't change la vaca por la chiva.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr.
Thank you,
Attorney?
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, first off, the deletion of that language is probably an error on my part. I'll go ahead and consider
Mea
that.
culpa, Ralph.
Excuse me?
Mea culpa.
Yeah, but with all due respect to Mr. Suarez, a lot of this is putting the horse before the cart. The process is as follows. All these matters that change the text of the Land Development Code have to be approved by the Planning and Zoning Board. They do not have to be approved by the Planning and Zoning Board before the first meeting or before the first reading of the ordinance. All ordinances, as you know, have to be approved twice. They have to have 2 readings. So they can go before the Planning and Zoning Board, then have first reading and then second reading in front of the commission. Or, as is the case here because of timing, they go to the City Commission, they get passed, then they go to the Planning and Zoning Board for approval, and then they go and are considered by the City Commission again on second reading. You can do it either of those 2 ways. There's no requirement that it be held first.
Gotcha.
Then finally, although I do appreciate Mr. Suarez's comments, every ordinance in second reading has an open comments period for the public. So this is a question, there's not really a question that it can be addressed today. There's nothing inappropriate with addressing it today, but there is a process whereby all ordinances in being finally considered by the City Commission are considered in their own separate public comments section per ordinance on second readings. But to get back to your more salient issue, this matter would go to the next Planning and Zoning Board meeting, and then it would go to the City Commission afterwards. So more than likely, there will not be a Planning and Zoning Board meeting for the rest of July, since there has already been one. So this matter cannot be considered in the August 1 meeting. It will likely have to be considered in September or in October after there's been an opportunity for the Planning and Zoning Board to review it. But as for the structure of the reading, this has been done many times in the past. It's just a question of timing, whether you do P and Z first and second, or you do first P and Z and then second. You can do it either way. Okay?
All right.
And then finally, as to the error there, I will correct it when it's submitted to the Planning and Zoning Board for review and then for second reading. It does not affect the title, so it can be amended, and it wouldn't even be an amendment, it would be a correction is what it would be. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
Mr. President, just a minute. The requirement that the comments should be made on the second reading maybe is an opportunity for improvement. To change it, that the comments could be made on the first reading, and that is the reason I came today to do it on the first reading, to give you commissioners, and remember, I sat there for 2 years, plenty of time to re-research this and make the right decision on the second reading, because in the second reading, you're going to address this issue, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Are you going to have time to do research and go to the dictionary and look for the definition of freehold and all that? I don't want to say the word all that. So that's the reason I try to do it on the first reading. And maybe there's an opportunity for improvement to change that requirement. It could be commented on the first reading, the ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, we got one more. Mark Bustin, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to present myself to you and the members of your community. My name is Mark Bloomstein. I'm one of your judges. I have been a judge since 2016 after I was elected back then, and I'm up for re-election now. And watching you here reminds me of the time I sat in your seats as a commissioner of the town of Surfside many years ago. So I know how much work it takes to sit on the dais of a city. So thank you for what you do. So my experience and why I think you and your constituents and members of the community should vote for me. Unlike many who are on the bench, I have served not just on the judicial bench, but I have served our country. You may have seen my picture around town with me wearing my naval hat. That's part of my history of service, 20 years of service in the U.S. Navy.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you so much for that. And that flag that sits behind you is why I do what I do, and that's to serve our country, to serve our community, and to serve the people that live here, and to make sure that they have an opportunity for justice. When people find themselves in litigation, they want a judge that listens to them, that's able to resolve their cases fairly, but also keeping in mind that justice delayed is justice denied. I take great pride in the fact that when I sat on the criminal bench, I was able to resolve in most cases, having the lowest caseload of anyone that sat on that dais for the time that I was there, which 2.5 years I served in the criminal bench. And now in the civil arena, I serve in the civil division of the court, and in just basically now about 2 years, I've been able to resolve over 1,000 cases. And that doesn't happen without hard work, without dedication, without understanding how it is to resolve cases by being a trial attorney, which is what I have been my entire career, both in the Navy and outside the Navy, locally and around the world. I know what it's like to be on the prosecution side of the aisle. I know what it's like to be on the defense side of the aisle. I have litigated on both sides of the aisle. I've also know what it's like to be a litigant when someone gets sued or has to sue. I know how that's like, and I bring all that perspective to the bench. I have a wealth of jury trial experience, and you will find in researching that my opponent does not. So there are stark differences between my service and those that aspire to be judges. And I think it's important that you evaluate background experience before voting on election day. So please look me up further to find out more about me. My last name is Bloomstein, but please don't let that deceive you. I am Jewish Cuban, Judío Cubano. I always say to those that listen, soy judío, no jodido. Así que pueden votar por mí. But in any event, thank you so much for your time and attention, and I look forward to seeing everyone on Election Day. Mark Bloomstein, number 94. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right, so that concludes the...
So you can, Mr. President, you can
Yes, sir.
resume with item 4, special presentations.
Yes,
if you
I
wish.
want to go ahead and do that one right there. All right, so 8, presentation of proclamation to Enrique Zamora, Commissioner Villanueva.
Thank you, Mr. President, and to my
Sir,
colleagues on the commission, if you could join me down in the bullpen, as we like to call it. Well done, Judge. Well done with the, God, I like that. I like that. I like a little spunk. I get them? So, I will say this, to our judicial candidates, I believe that you guys are the basis and the foundation, the very fabric of our United States Constitution. Because that's where everyone goes for fairness, for justice. Up here, we just play games. We play political games. We try and resolve issues. But what you guys do, I thank you. So I thank you for your service. And if I'm ever in your courtroom, remember me. Mr. Enrique Zamora. Oh, I know you hate this, but I don't care. Come here, Gisela. I'm not going to make you say anything. Just stand right there in the middle with all these guys. They're all armed. This is a very special individual. And to you judges, you'd be very shocked and surprised of everything that this man has achieved in his short life of 37 years old. 38? 35, I apologize. So I'm going to try and do this without my glasses. Enrique Zamora, a Cuban-born native, arrived in the United States in 1980, fleeing communist Cuba. Not knowing the language, his parents struggled at first, but were able to provide a safe environment. Years passed, and Enrique saw the need for quality health services. In 2006, he had a vision to provide medical services for the community. He opened a small clinic in West Hialeah called Care Medical Center Group, which began to serve the needs of the most vulnerable members of the community. In partnership with several organizations such as the Department of Children and Family Services, Alliance for Aging, Farm Share, and many others, Care Medical Center Group continued to expand, and before long a new partnership was created, and Belen Medical Centers was born. I think we've all heard of Belen Medical Centers. His first clinic as Belen Medical Center in Hialeah, Florida, received approval from the State of Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration as a healthcare clinic, and was certified as a provider as well as a Florida Medicaid system to provide care for those in need. He identified several voids in medical services and realized that the community needed a better solution. Enrique established a local community-based pharmacy as well as an affordable dental center. Not only was he providing medical services to the elderly, he was also offering dental services and a pharmacy where patients could pick up their prescriptions without the red tape. That's very impressive. After several years, Enrique expanded his business to areas where the affluent avoid, areas where medical services are not readily available, the northwest parts of Miami-Dade County. I'm not going to mention all the parts, but we all know the parts. In that time, it was considered Carroll City. Today, it is called Miami Gardens. The medical centers continued to sprout throughout Miami-Dade and Broward. Over the last 18 years, the medical centers have served hundreds of thousands of people and have employed over 500 employees in South Florida. Enrique requires that every patient, every employee, and every person be treated with the utmost respect and dignity they deserve. Over the last 18 years, Enrique Zamora has grown Belen Medical Group into a pillar of the community. In 2019, Belen Medical Center merged with Cano Health. Title partnership expanded their reach to over 70,000 patients in the community, where they were able to provide more services and focus on the less fortunate. Enrique ensures that every one of his patients and employees receives a birthday card and a Christmas card to remind them that they are important to him. One of Mr. Zamora's greatest attributes is his leadership and work ethic. He has mentored many healthcare workers within the company and the community. He engages and promotes entrepreneurship of businesses that help society become better than we found it. His mission has been and always will be to set an example in the care and protection of elderly and the vulnerable. Now, therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Commissioner of the City of Sweetwater, on the 11th day of July, shall now and forever be known as Enrique Zamora Day.
Thank you.
Let's take a picture if you guys don't mind. And while he's shaking hands, he can't stand the limelight. I don't need this crap. He can't stand the limelight. He really can't. What I will tell you is, without saying too much, this man has donated a fortune to help people. He's a philanthropist. And I won't go much into that because I see people jumping. But I'm very impressed with you. Thank you so much for all the residents in Sweetwater that you've helped, that you're going to continue to help, because I'm going to hold you to that. And you are a true hero. So thank you very much for what you do.
I want to mention something, Marquinhos.
Fine, he said.
No, I just want to say something else that is important.
Yeah.
Because through Enrique Zamora, we're able to get 2 hospitals in Miami to cooperate to bring children with cancer from Cuba. So we got it from.
I was told not to say that. And I was told not to say other
Well, I
things.
didn't mention the hospitals, so that's fine.
Right.
Right, attorney, are we okay?
So when I tell you millions of dollars, there's a lot of judges here who would love a campaign contribution. So if you don't mind, Ilania, come over here. Always Ilania next to the superstar. And, go ahead.
Thank you.
Wait. Go!
Perfect, thank you so much. Thank you.
And Enrique is donating a brand new recreation center in Sweetwater with $15 million. I'm kidding. Thank you, bro. I sound like a freaking jerk. Hey, what's up?
Okay, everybody in? All right, 5, presentation on Employee of the Month Award. None.
Next meeting.
Presentation of Officer of the Month Award.
Keep waiting.
Nothing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Report of Officer, Boards and Committee.
None.
Addition and deletion to the agenda. We
Mr.
adding-
President, I would like to delete item 11A. It's a city attorney item, so I'm authorized to delete.
11A.
11A.
You mean 11A Apple, right?
Yeah, that's a city attorney item.
Okay. All right, so we got 2 addition, right?
Mr. Vera would like to defer item L to the next meeting, which would be August 1.
L defer, right?
And then, the next one's August 1. Yeah, there's an August 1 meeting, yeah. To defer it to a date certain, you would need a vote.
Okay.
So there would need to be a motion, a second, and then
Okay.
a motion to defer to the August 1 meeting, and then a second, and then a vote.
Okay, do I have a motion? Motion by Ray. Second. Second by D. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Yanez? This is to defer, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz?
Yes.
Commissioner Marti?
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva?
No, I want to hear it now. I'm kidding. Yes.
Commission President Diaz?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the date, Mr. Attorney?
August 1, or the next regular city commission meeting, which I believe is August 1.
Next commission meeting,
Yeah.
okay? All right, so there's 2 items to add on, right? Staff items, or it's already here?
No, you have to add
3
on
I got VW
VW
And
and
X.
X.
and X, right?
So you
Alright.
need a motion and a second to add.
Okay, motion to add 3 items to agenda? Moved
Second.
by
Commissioner,
Yeah.
Ian, and second by Isidro Ruiz.
Mr. President, you want to just do an all in favor, say aye?
You can do an all in favor.
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. And then say any opposed.
Perfect.
Any opposed? None. All right. So we go into number 9, petition, communication, and remote distance. Okay, I want to go ahead and call in Ms. Claudia Miros.
Miro.
Claudia Munoz. She's from, I want to bring Claudia on reference the trolley and she's coming from Freebie. I'm going to have her talk a little bit more about Freebie. Everybody knows about Freebie.
Yes.
Almost every city out there has it. She's going to do a presentation to us just to give us an idea what Freebie is all about. I think it's going to be a great, for a city. So go ahead and
Good
go ahead,
evening.
Claudia.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and it's so good to be here again. Claudia Miro. Claudia Miro. I am the Director of Business Development and Government Affairs for Freebie, with offices at 2312 North Miami Avenue in Miami, Florida. Again, thank you, Vice Mayor, for the invitation. As he said, we're just here to have a conversation and kind of go and do a high-level overview of who we are, what we do, and more importantly, how we have been helping over 35 communities in South Florida with their transit solutions, and see if there's an opportunity also to do the same thing here in Sweetwater. In the interest of time, let me see if they can pull up the slide. Oh, okay, very good. So Freebie, we are in the innovative future happening right now. So not only are we the future, but we have also proven that we are an effective transit solution over the last 10 years. Put on my glasses. So just to give you an introduction to Freebie, again, we're the future of public mobility, just moving people through free, on-demand, door-to-door electric transportation. I'm going to say that again, free, on-demand, door-to-door electric transportation. We are that first mile, last mile solution, just helping get cars off the street, making Sweetwater a place where you can live, work, and hang out without having to have the need of having a personal vehicle. The other thing is that we're just not a transit solution. We're also an economic development tool, and we are designed to physically drive traffic to the local businesses there within the community. The good news is that our service is fully customizable. Every city has a different look, has a different feel, everyone has different goals, so we are able to adapt our program to meet the goals, the objectives, and needs within the city of Sweetwater. And then the best part about our service is that it's 100% electric.
I like that.
So to give you a little bit of an overview of our company, we were established in 2012, so we've been around for 12 years. We currently operate a fleet of over 100 vehicles in over 20 communities here throughout South Florida. In fact, out of the 34 cities in Miami-Dade County, like Vice Mayor Diaz was saying, we are in 22 of those cities. To the right, you can see a list of the cities and basically see how Freebie has taken over South Florida, being a transit solution there. We're in communities that are coastal, suburban, downtown communities, metropolitan cities, and islands as well. We have received a number of awards and recognition, including the Key to the City of Miami, the Key to Miami-Dade County, hopefully one day the Key to the City of Sweetwater. And we have received awards like the Complete Street Champion nominee and the official Clean Energy Transportation Partner of the Super Bowl during 2020. And again, these are awards that we have received because we have given so much to the communities that we work with. So how does it work? Freebie is a combination of Uber meets Yelp. So if you've used Uber and you've used Yelp, this is a combination of Uber meets Yelp, where you're able to request on-demand transportation with a push of a button, but at the same time, you're able to access everything that is through our mobile platform. You're able to access everything and anything that is happening within the city of Sweetwater. As you can see, this is the Ride Freebie app. When you open the app, this is what comes up. And you see there in the middle, there's a carousel. We're showing you at Madroño Restaurant, right? So that is going to tell you, you can basically put up there any local events. Let's say you want to promote the 4th of July event that you have, right? You could put it there to promote that. You can do surveying on there. Anything and everything that's happening in the city of Sweetwater can be pushed through here, this carousel in the middle. And that's for all the local businesses in the area. The next slide is basically, like I said, that this is very fully customizable. You will decide when anybody opens up the Freebie app in the city of Sweetwater within the geofence area, again, they're going to be exposed to that slide that I just showed you, everything that's happening here, and every city decides differently how they want to do it. Some cities, like for instance, town of Miami Lakes, they geofence the entire town of Miami Lakes. Other cities like Coral Gables, they geofence just their business improvement district, just to drive traffic to Miracle Mile, to Ponce de Leon. So the city of Sweetwater will decide. You decide how it is that you want to geofence. You want to geofence the whole thing or just certain parts. That's up to you. And these are examples of different areas that we service and how they've done that within their area. So how to use the app, it's quite simple. Once again, you see the first one, you just hit the request to ride button. The next screen is going to drop a pin to your location to where you are. And then the next one will tell you to select a destination. You can either put in the address or the name of the business that you want to go to, or you can select from the bars right there where it says the different categories, restaurants and bars, arts and entertainment, any other points of interest. All that is going to come up there for you. And then the last one is to confirm your ride. If it's just you, you click me. If it's 2, 3, 4, how many other people are in your party, you will say that as well. This is the page where you're also going to be able to request accommodations. So let's say that you need a wheelchair, or maybe you need a car seat or a booster seat. That's the area where you're going to request that. And again, just like when you have any other rideshare platform, you're going to be able to communicate with the driver in real time. You're going to be able to see a map where the vehicle is, how many minutes away they are. And again, the good news here is that you're waiting in your home or your place of business or wherever it is you're requesting that ride from. You're not outside at a bus stop or at a trolley stop in the heat and the sun and the rain. You're waiting for them. Okay, they'll be here in 10 minutes. Great. You're waiting inside, in the AC, in a place that's comfortable for you. Moving along, some of the program benefits. It transforms communities into places, again, where you can live, work, and play without having to need that vehicle there. And again, minimizes the single occupancy vehicles on the street there, takes cars off the road, reduces traffic congestion, and also helps you free up some of that limited parking availability that you may have. And it also acts as a feeder system to mass transit. So we don't compete with mass transit. So let's say that you need to travel further outside of the city of Sweetwater. Instead of having to walk 2 or 3 blocks to the bus stop there, you can request a freebie to take you to the bus stop, and then that way, continue on with your travel. We have community ambassadors. We don't call our drivers just drivers. They're community ambassadors. They're basically mobile concierges for the city of Sweetwater, and they have to pretty much know everything about the city, and I'll get into that in another slide. Economic development. This is the biggest thing, one of the biggest benefits that Freebie has is that what really sets us apart from other transportation platforms is our ability to be that economic development driver, bringing business to the front door of these businesses there. So that's a huge value point. And then sustainability, we are 100% battery powered, like I mentioned earlier, promoting clean energy and reducing the carbon emissions. So who rides Freebie? Everyone rides Freebie. We have found that Freebie is the most equitable form of transportation out there because it's used by students, it's used by kids, it's used by your seniors, it's used by your working class. Everybody rides Freebie. So it's the most equitable form, and we take pride in saying that we are the most equitable form of transportation, promoting unity and integrity among all the members in the community there. And then as I was talking about earlier, this is actually my favorite part. It's our Freebie drivers. Again, we call them community ambassadors because they are the face of the community. Like I said, they're like mobile concierge. They can promote local events, dining, shopping, and other things to do in the city of Sweetwater. They also double over as neighborhood watch because they're going to the areas all the time and they get familiar with the people. If they see something, they say something. So that there's a value point to that as well. And they're brand ambassadors and they're held to the highest standards. I want to mention that our Freebie drivers are actually W-2 employees for the city with health benefits if they work full time. They're not independent contractors like you would see with other rideshare companies. They have to go through a level 2 background check. And there's a huge safety feature to that because a lot of our riders feel very safe. In fact, 70% of our riders are women because they feel so safe with our drivers there. Again, economic development. we've come to understand that in order to have any successful mobility platform, it has to be a win-win situation all around, right? It has to benefit the residents, the workers, the visitors, easy maneuverability at no cost when they're in the city of Sweetwater. And of course, it's a benefit to the local businesses there because we're offering them free advertising when you open the platform. That carousel that you saw, that's free advertising for the city. And I'll get into that a little bit later as well. But so that free advertising is going to also cause the businesses to partner with us and also promote the service and let people know, hey, you can come to my business, you know, you don't need a car, you don't need a ride, you can come take a freebie. So it's kind of a one hand washes the other there. Again, benefits to the environment because it's 100% electric, and it makes freebie an important tool to attract residents and visitors and businesses to Sweetwater when you have a freebie in your community. Here, when I was talking about the economic development, here's a destination example. We have an economic development team that will come out to your city and go to all the local businesses that want to do the free advertising, and we'll provide that. So the example I have here is Madroño Restaurant. We'll go out there, they'll give us the photos, they can, you know, it'll show the location, the destinations, they'll be under restaurants and bars, right? The map of where they are, and then the restaurant can offer incentives so that people can use the freebie to get there. For like instance, we put a 10% off, or maybe that's a free drink or a free dessert. So if you take the freebie to get to Madroño, all you have to do is show them that you got there on the app, and they'll give you whatever incentive that they're offering for doing that. And so again, it's driving business to the door of these local businesses. And so the proposed demonstration project, with every city that we talk to, what we always recommend is that you do a 12-month pilot program. It's low risk, low cost. You don't have to invest in any of the vehicles. We take care of that all up front. All you're paying for is that on-demand, door-to-door service there. You will see, like here, it shows you, you'll see the area that you'll decide which area you want to geofence and what days of the week that you want to operate. There's some cities that operate 7 days of the week, you know, 12 hours a day. Some do it only on the weekends, some do it Monday through Friday. So you're going to identify what those transportation needs and goals are for you and tell us the operating days and times. And then the other thing about data collection and flexibility is that you will get a dashboard where you'll be able to see in real time how many people are requesting a ride right now, how many people are waiting. At the end of the month, we provide you with a report, and you'll be able to access it also yourself to see what the ridership looks like. So if you see that there's an area that's getting more ride requests than another, you can adjust that. If you see that there's times of the day that have more usership, you can adjust the days, the times, all of that fully customizable again, and very easy to adjust as well. And then the biggest question, right? How do you pay for it? Right? What are some of the funding solutions? So we really go out of our way to find creative funding solutions and help the cities kind of fund the service. So we're funded just like any other public transit service is funded. So one of the things is a CITT, the half penny tax. A lot of the cities use that to fund for the service. Also, we have FDOT grants. There's an FDOT grant that actually becomes available in May of next year. Again, it opens up. They will fund 50% of the service for the first 3 years, and a lot of the cities take advantage of that. So they either fund 50% with a grant, the other 50% with CITT, or again, out of their general budget. And then if you do allow us to do advertising where we wrap our vehicles in advertising, we sell advertising to local businesses, et cetera, we will do a revenue share and return 50% of the revenue to the city to help them lower their cost even further. If not, then we just wrap the vehicles in the city's branding like you see here. These are the 3 different vehicles that we offer. The first one is the Tesla Model X with the Falcon doors, as you see there. And then the next one is what we call our GEM vehicle. That's our low-speed vehicle that only goes 25 miles an hour. And then the last one is the van. And also, the van and the GEM are equipped with wheelchair accessibility if you need it. And if you go with the Tesla model, we always have a wheelchair accessible vehicle in the area. Should we receive that request, we'll be able to fulfill that request. And then that's basically, in a nutshell, a high-level overview of who we are, what we do, and how it is that we've been working with all the other cities that we currently offer services. I'm available for questions if anyone has a question.
Anybody have any question? Ray, go ahead.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When it comes to requesting the service, the only way to request service is through the app.
Thank you for asking. That's a great question. So for some of our folks who are not tech savvy or may not have a smartphone, we also have an 800 number that will go to an operator who will do exactly what we do on the app ourselves for them.
The geographic fence could be adjusted at any time, or
Correct. You'll decide at the beginning how you want to do the fence. What I'll tell you is that every single city that we currently serve started off as a pilot project. Not only did they stay on with the service of Freebie, but they have either expanded their service area or they've expanded their fleet, because once they see that the usership is very high. I had a meeting recently where one of the commissioners was saying to me that one of the saddest things that he's seen is a trolley driving around empty all day long. So with Freebie, we kind of are bridging that gap, and you'll see that when you do the pilot project, you have the ability to see that the usership is very, very high. And so that's why the cities will expand the area that they service if they're not doing already the whole city, or they'll add vehicles to their fleet to meet the demands.
Okay. I got a question.
All right.
Commissioner Vallecillo?
Go ahead.
How do you, because in this community, we would have to really advertise it to the people, to the residents, to let them know that this is there, and that to educate people on how to use the app or the availability of the phone number. How would you guys go about educating the community about the services so that they actually use it?
Well, we'd be happy to, come and do like a town hall to help them do that. Or also we can offer a PSA where we can create a PSA that you can run on your YouTube channel or on your channel 77, the city's public channel, so that everybody knows, hey, this is Freebie, this is how you use it. Yes, it's absolutely free, it's true. Because a lot of people struggle to believe, oh my goodness, I'm being picked up in a Tesla and it's free. Yes, that is happening.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Through the chair, yes.
Yes, right.
Ms. Miro, we have already a lot of freebies driving around the city. I guess it's for FIU students?
That's correct.
How are you going to separate that?
So with the geofence, because the way that FIU works is that you have to request your ride to FIU. So right now you'll see Freebie vehicles that are going from the engineering campus to FIU, and we go as far as Fontainebleau and some of the areas in Sweetwater to pick up those students, but those students are identified because they're using the service because they have a student ID. So
Right.
let's say that you have a student in your house that takes the Freebie to go to school, they can do it, you cannot. So you have to have your own profile. So they will be identified as a student, you'd be identified as a Sweetwater resident to use the service within Sweetwater, but not to take it to FIU.
So actually, the way freebie works right now with the FIU students is just from their apartments or houses or whatever to campus.
Yes.
They can
and
go
back
to,
and from.
They can
So
go to Sedano's.
The ride
They can.
has to start and end at either FIU.
All right.
Either start or end at FIU. And you can do that as well. There's cities who decide to do that and say, listen, like in Coral Gables, or I'm sorry, there's another city where you have to start or end within that business district. So as long as you're starting or ending, you can't take it, let's say, in some cities from your house to my house, let's say. But if you want it to be like that, like in Hialeah, you can do that. You can go wherever it is as long as you're within the geofence. Like I said, highly customizable. You're going to be making those decisions, the size of the geofence, how many, and then once you do that, once you tell us what areas you want to geofence, what hours you want to operate, we're going to turn around and we're going to give you our recommendation and say, okay, based on the goals and the needs that City of Sweetwater has, we recommend this area, this many vehicles, and this type of vehicle for the kind of service that you're willing to offer.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to follow up on what you just said, that the students have a student ID to use the app, correct? What will the residents have to use the app? Or is it the address?
It's not residents. It's anyone who's so it's a visitor that's here in Sweetwater and say I'm out of town and I'm visiting my tia and I want to go to Dolphin Mall. Great, as long as I'm here and I download the app.
Yeah, wherever
it'll take
there's
me.
freebie going.
And that happens as well. Like if right now I go to if I go to let's say Pinecrest and I'm in Pinecrest and I want to take the freebie somewhere, I can do it because immediately the app will pick up that I'm in Pinecrest and take me where I want to go. So any city that has it will.
Okay.
I'll be
Anybody
with
else?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Marcos.
So Claudia, if it was anybody else, I would have walked out of the room. I would have told Mr. President how much more time we're going to give this person. But the fact that I've known you since I was 14 years old, and the fact that you were a previous employee here, I think you left like 5 years ago, right?
Almost 7.
Good. Just want to make it clear, there's no county ordinance violation. You have an impeccable record. Your reputation is also impeccable. If it was anybody else, I would have walked out of the room. So, let me know what you need. You have my support. I think it's a great idea. I think this is going to take a lot of collaboration. And I appreciate you coming to the commission. Shows a lot of respect, something that this commission hasn't seen in a long time. So I saw you speak to our president at a specific location the other day, and I saw you pitch, so I'm glad you're here. You have my support.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Commissioner.
you.
I'm very happy to
Thank
be
you.
here and see so many familiar faces on the dais and appreciate the,
Thank you,
the
Marcos.
opportunity to present.
Thank you.
Claudia.
You're about to cry. You're about to make me cry there.
Really?
Anyway,
You wanna
Claudia,
hug?
yes.
Hug it
I
out.
just want to say something about this program, guys. I did went to the trolley and I took a ride on the trolley not too long ago, and I sat right there in front of the passport. 9 o'clock in the morning. They picked me up at 9:45. I took a ride, and to me it was a waste of money, waste of time, and it doesn't work. It does not work. I was trying to get Freebie here for the longest time. I met her, I saw her at one of the events that we had not too long ago. She told me she was with Freebie. I was like, wow, you need to come over. And
then you
show
saw the
us-
Telemundo piece
Yes,
and you were
I
sold.
saw it on
And you
Telemundo
called
too,
me.
yes. I think, guys, this is a great program. I think, like you said, this is going to go way beyond our city. I mean, we got the Dolphin Mall right there. If we would have had Freebie, man, I would go Freebie to the Dolphin Mall, to Bass Pro, which is my favorite store.
Especially because it's electric.
Yes, and thank you for your presentation. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you. I'm gonna, if you can send us a proposal. I don't know how this thing is gonna work with Robert Herrera. I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to him tomorrow, and to see what can we do, and you know.
Sure. So next steps would be you would have to kind of decide amongst you what kind of geofence you're looking at. If you want to geofence the entire city, the hours of operation, and then we can turn around and make a recommendation with a proposal
Yeah.
of what it
Sure.
would look like.
Yes, sir.
So just to make sure that we have the horse in its position and the carriage in its position, I think the best course of action is for her to present the city with a unsolicited bid, or a sole source provider. Do you have any competitors?
So what I wanted to say was also that a lot of the cities will piggyback so that they don't have to go through the entire procurement process. They'll piggyback and look at other cities and see what they've already done, or they will waive bidding. That's another thing that they do. So there is a way to do it. And like I said, there is nobody
Hold on.
who-
Let me. Claudia was our PIO, and our PIO is always the one who speaks. And for the first time in so many years, I get to say, I want that. Hey, you're gonna get it. So I would recommend, Mr. President, that she presents us with a proposal with different options, different pricing options. It's a perfect time. We're getting prepared to do our budget. Robert Harada obviously works for the mayor. The mayor, we already know. So we're gonna have to figure that out. So that's why this is the perfect time. So I would go about it with a proposal, and then we'll see how we fit it into the budget. That's the best way, the best course of action to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ralph, did you want to chime in there?
Yeah, just a moment. I'm just reading one thing very quickly here.
I didn't want Ralph to chime in.
That was my one thing. How do we get this to administration to push this forward?
Okay, so this might actually be considered a public-private partnership. I'm reading the definition of it right now. But if it is
P3.
considered a public-private partnership, then there's a specific provision, Claudia. You might want to write this down. 2-240. So you can go ahead and present that to your House Counsel for unsolicited proposals.
2-2?
2-240 of the City Code of Ordinances. So it is specifically for unsolicited proposals. pay attention to item B, or subsection B. There's a $10,000 fee for submitting an unsolicited proposal. And that's because to cover the cost of reviewing, to cover the cost of employee time for reviewing unsolicited proposals.
That could always be waived by the commission.
City
It's
Attorney?
not in here. The mayor may require additional fees, actually.
No, it's under subsection PMC.
Easy, easy.
I know Saul likes that subsection.
Is that the only way that we can go about it, Mr. City Attorney?
If you want to give me a call tomorrow,
Sure.
I'll go through it in detail. I'm not even sure it actually does fully qualify as a public-private partnership at this point.
Okay.
It's just something I'm tossing out there. There is another provision in the purchasing code, and depending on how this is presented, that might have to go to public bid. So there are various items in here. I'm not fully sure exactly how this would work, but if essentially you would be paid for from CITT funds, those funds would go to the city, and the city would pay your company. So that would be a cost, which would certainly be in excess of $3,500, which means that this is 2-228, all expenditures for supplies, all expenditures for, and I'm excerpting language out here, but all expenditures for contractual services in excess of $3,500 shall be made on the basis of competitive sealed bids or requests for proposals. So your best bet at this point is to, if the administration is willing, to have the administration put out a request for proposals in the community, and then you would respond to that. That would be free of charge.
Okay.
If this is a public-private partnership and you do wish to, and you can't go that route for whatever reason, or you wish not to go that route, under the P3 ordinance, there is a $10,000 fee for every unsolicited proposal.
Okay. Duly noted. Thank you so much, Mr.
All right.
City Attorney.
All right.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure seeing you again, Claudia.
Likewise.
To the chair, I
Yes.
have a question that is came to my mind.
Claudia?
Yes, Commissioner
you.
Yanya.
No, it's just like I want to ask the commission something that it just brought me up. Maybe the city attorney can elaborate on that. The transportation that we have right now doesn't get half of the penny.
Yes, it's funded through CITT, which is a half penny sales tax.
Okay, so in this case, we have to eliminate them.
I don't know. That's that's actually an excellent question. I don't know if we have extra funding in CITT to cover this. In which case we might simply end up having two services. I don't know if the city would simply eliminate the trolley service and go straight with the freebie service or a competitor, possibly.
I'm all right with that.
That a lot of government is moving towards government funding with private enterprise filling the actual provision of services. That's actually very common. The entire Medicare system is built upon that. Publicly funded, privately operated. So that would be a possibility, but that's actually an excellent question. That is something that has to be considered before any contracts are signed.
If I may, Commissioner, just to say that when the city of Aventura signed on, they started with 2 freebie vehicles and they kept their trolley program. After they were able to see the data every single month of the usership and compare it to the data of the usership with the trolley, because with the trolley, CIDT is going to require that you have at least 7.5 riders a day in order to receive that funding. And if you're not meeting that ridership, it becomes an issue. But like I said, they started with 2 freebie vehicles and then they moved on. They went up to 6 and then 8, and now they're up to 12, and they did away with their trolley program when they started seeing that the usership simply wasn't there to justify using the CITT funds.
I
for that.
agree that the freebie will be much better, but we have to take that in
No,
consideration.
absolutely.
What we need to do, because I remember I was sitting there when
Yeah.
that happened about the half a penny.
Yep. I remember when I took the ride not too long ago, about a week ago. I took the ride at 9 o'clock. Well, I took it at 9:45. By the time at 3 o'clock, when they left me on the same place, they only pick up 5 people, 5 person. And the ride, I encourage you guys to take a ride one day in that trolley. And I took it, like I said, 9 o'clock, 9:45 picked me up, and it took me a long ride. There was a gentleman that they picked him up in Sedanos. He was going to the Duffy Mall. Well, he had to go all the way down to 92nd Avenue, where Walmart was, all the way down Flagler to be able to make it. And then go back here to City Hall, go around City, go back, and it's alone. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a waste of money. That's what I saw. And then
I agree.
And then there was a lot of issues in there that I want to go ahead and talk to Robert Herrera whenever I talk to him about it. And I believe there was 2 trolley in order. We ordered 2 trolleys.
We did.
Yes.
Right?
I remember that. We
Yeah.
ordered
And that
last
was
year.
about what? 5 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
No, that's
All right, wait, then-
already back order.
Yeah. Well, we got to
We gotta get-
we got to talk about it, and we got to sit down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claudia.
All right, consent agenda. Approval of minutes for commission meeting on October 13, 2021, October 28, 2021, and May 18, 2020.
You can do a voice
Yeah,
vote,
yeah.
essentially.
Everybody in favor? Aye.
Move it.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let me, 1 second, let me see if, we'll say you.
All right, we go 11, staff item. Mr. Attorney,
Okay.
can you please read B, please?
So the first one is B, 11B.
Come on.
An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Chapter 14, Buildings and Building Regulations, amending Article 2, Permit Fees, Section 14-26, Public Works Fees Schedule, providing for a repealer clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. Second reading and public hearing, Mayor Lopez and zoning official.
Okay, public hearing is open. Anybody wish to talk from the audience? All right. Public hearing is closed. Mr. George?
Good evening, George Vera, zoning official, City of Sweetwater. This ordinance came before you last time.
Is B?
And
Yes.
The commission asked to make certain adjustments, especially for the single-family residences. That was made to the ordinances as far as the fees, and they're on page. You're on the first page. It starts for construction of asphalt or concrete driveways for single-family duplex, and all the.
Which number is that, George? That's Exhibit A, right?
Yes, exhibit A.
Which number, PW?
The first page, PW 9.
9, okay.
And it goes all the way through PW 13.
Yeah, everything was 100.
All those things were adjusted back down to the single-family resident.
George, I have a question on that same page. PW 06, front construction of driveway on private property. It went up from 165 to 210.
That's not,
Huh?
that's not single-family or anything.
Oh, that's only for,
Yeah, if you look at it, for construction of concrete driveways for single-family duplexes, those are the ones. Once you start getting
Okay.
into multifamily and commercial.
okay, I
and
see
all
it
that.
down here. Yes, sorry about that. That's the one that we went down.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any questions on this item?
Looks all good.
Nobody?
No, through the chair.
Go ahead.
George, thank you for listening to our recommendations. I appreciate it. Thank you for separating the items as we requested instead of piecemealing 17 items together. I appreciate your service and your professionalism to the city, sir. You are an attribute to the Building and Zoning Department.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Madam Clerk. Any motion by Ray, second by, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Passes.
Thank you.
Item 11C, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater amending Section 56-2 definitions and Section 56-38 exemptions of Chapter 56 special events, providing for a repealer clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. Second reading and public hearing, Mayor Lopez and zoning official.
Okay, public hearing is open. Anybody? All right, nobody's coming to talk about this item. Public comment is closed. George?
This is for second reading on this ordinance. This is just making some corrections on some language within the ordinance as far as definitions, like retail use, make it commercial use, minor stuff.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. George, I don't see any law enforcement requirements here for special events. Why?
Because all we changed was just a certain section of the special events. There is enforcement requirements on special events.
Right, so
On-
my
on the whole
request.
code, on the whole code.
Thank you. So my request to you from now on is, instead of piecemealing, put it all together. That way we know that it's the original or the actual ordinance in itself, because here I look and it's just one document and I don't see any law enforcement.
I follow what you're saying. I'm trying to stay basic, that's why.
I get you. I don't care about the
All right, no
trees.
problem.
That's horrible.
I don't care about the trees at all. I know firemen do, because that's what you guys like, trees and cats and puppies and all that. I'm sorry, Mr. President. So George, nothing has changed as far as law enforcement requirement. Do you know what it is? Because I know for establishments, it's for every 250 people require one officer. But what about special events? Is it per square footage?
The special events, we have to come before and we sit with the police and all the different departments, code enforcement, and we'll sit
All right,
together.
so it
and
hasn't
fire
changed.
department gets together and we'll do all on
Well,
big events.
All right,
All
second.
right, I have a motion by Mr. Ray, second by Marcos. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Say yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Passes.
Go E.
Item 11D, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, establishing a program by which employees may convert leave time into direct payments, providing for procedures, providing for definitions, providing for limits, providing for suspension, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for effective date. Second reading and public hearing, Commissioner Marti.
Public hearing is open. Okay, show that nobody comes in to talk about it. This item. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Marti.
This is just another benefit for our employees to avail themselves to sell time in lieu of hopefully drawing on these loans at high interest rates. I think it just continues to make us competitive, and it's just something else to help our employees during financial times.
Okay.
Through the chair, before we vote,
Go ahead, sir.
question. This includes sick time and vacation time and comp time, correct?
Sick, annual, and comp leave.
And are you translating annual as vacation?
Yes.
Annual is
Annual is
vacation
vacation.
under both CBAs.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
This is the best piece of legislation you've done. High five, bro.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Ray, second by Idania. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yeah, absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Firemen are good for something, yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Passes.
Item 11E, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, amending the city's code of ordinances to provide for new starting annual salary for probationary police officers, providing for similar increase for superior ranks, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for effective date. Second reading and public hearing, Commissioner Villanueva.
I know that we're all gonna support this item. I'm just gonna make a brief statement. This is the most pro-police, most pro-employee commission that I've ever seen in the city of Sweetwater, and I've been around the city since 1984. As an employee since 97. So I thank you guys for supporting our cops. To our employees, we're gonna get to you guys. We have all the intent in the world. All this legislation does is after October 1st, our police officers are gonna be one of the highest paid law enforcement officers in Miami-Dade County and in the state of Florida at $63,750. It's an honor to present this item and to have you guys back it. I love you guys for it. So today I'm in a great mood. Anybody want to say anything negative? You got a free. You get a free second. I love the mayor. I love everybody.
All right, I got a motion by Ray, second by Isidro Ruiz. And I have a question, Mr. Villanueva.
You've never called me that, but go ahead.
No, basically, I was gonna ask you, I mean, the PBA, obviously, they're approving this. Are they willing to do anything? I mean, negotiate anything with us?
So they don't have to negotiate anything. Basically, all this requires, look, since we're kind of circumventing the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, it would literally take one of our union members to file a grievance and say, I don't want a $10,000 raise, which is not going to happen. So at this stage, all that really requires is for the city to sign an MOU, a memo of understanding, with the Police Benevolent Association, and that should solidify things. If anybody wants to file a deck action or, sue, they could. Wouldn't really go anywhere. So basically, later on, just to solidify, we'll probably request the mayor sign an MOU with the PBA, hopefully after the 10 days. Of him not vetoing this, hopefully cross our fingers. And like I said, I love you, Mayor. Greatest mayor
All
in
right,
history.
I have a motion by Ray, second by Ian.
Sure. I'm not Ian, but it's
No, Ruiz.
It's all right.
I'm sorry about that. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Thanks. Yeah, everybody say
7 meetings.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Hell yes.
Commissioner Yanio, yes, Commissioner Vallecillo,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, ma'am.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Item 11F, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Article 4, Development Design and Improvement Standards, Section 4.03.00, off-street parking and loading, creating Section 4.03.06, Parking Trust Fund, and creating Section 4.307, Electric Vehicle Charging Stations of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Code, providing for repealer clause, providing for severability, for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez and zoning official.
George, you got the floor?
Yes, this covers basically the parking areas. I was talking with the city attorney, the electric vehicle charging stations, that new section that I'm creating. I would like to have an amendment because there's another ordinance being placed by Commissioner Vallecillo.
If I can, George, actually, I didn't mean to cut you off, but unfortunately, when I answered your question originally, I was also trying to pay attention to what was happening on the dais. The electric vehicle charging stations are part of the title. So you can amend the electric vehicle charging station item, but you cannot delete the item. The ordinance has to have a provision dealing with electric vehicle charging stations because it's part of the title.
Okay, so how do we do
It's best that you either go forward with what you've got right now, and then we can figure this out
for the second reading?
for the second reading, or if you want to pull it and it comes back another day.
No, I would rather go forward.
Okay.
So I got out of the other items here. So basically, Commission, what this is about is I've included certain sections to the code that we didn't have tandem and valet parking. We didn't have that at all. Now an understanding what tandem parking is, and if you do have tandem or valet parking, you gotta have a service to provide you that, which is an income to the city. Second, the parking regulations throughout there's different sections, but basically the biggest one is the change of the parking ratio for the University City housing. Before it used to be 0.5 parking spaces per bed, we're changing it to 1 parking space per bed. We were having a lot of problems with parking spilling out into the city and not enough parking spaces inside the parking garage itself.
Good. Good. So George, just to, because that's a very important, what you just said there, I referenced the parking in our city. So you mean to tell me that whoever comes now, we pass this, they're gonna have to have 1 parking?
Per bed.
Per bed. So if you have 2 rooms, you gotta have 2 parking?
No, if you have, let's say sometimes you have 1 suite that has 4 beds.
Right, now you're talking about beds, I'm talking about rooms.
No, we're talking.
It's gotta be beds, okay.
No, University City, you could have 1 room with 4 beds.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, they rent out the beds.
Gotcha.
Or the bedrooms, let's say.
Yes.
So right now, it's only 2 parking spaces for that 1 room.
Gotcha.
What this is saying is, you're gonna have 4 kids there, and what we're seeing is that each of the kids have their cars. It's not like they made it out to be that everybody's walking and taking Uber.
Gotcha. Can we do something about the dogs too?
No, that's something else.
That's okay. I just want to throw that one in there. Go ahead, George.
So, what else did I say?
Talking about the parkings.
The parking. I went ahead and I put some, there was an amendment done, and I put a sub-note 7 to the first table 4.2. Basically, we never had, and I added it to table 4.2, open lot recreational uses such as mini golf, driving ranges, and other similar outdoor uses. Parking requirements for that, we never had that. So I added that to the code.
Through the chair.
Sir.
Yes.
Just trying to help you out here, George. I know you put a lot into it. Like I told you before, I don't like several items on one item because then we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna try your way, but I've always said just present one item. I don't care if it's 200 items on the agenda. I'll go through it. But here we have several items. I'll give you an example.
But this is several items on the one section. That's why.
Well, I'll give you an example. So, for example, I created an ordinance for a franchise fee for charging stations.
Okay.
Now, is your ordinance going to be part of that ordinance, or are you tailing off into something different?
When I created the electric service stations, was totally, I never heard about yours, and I had never heard about Mr. Vallecillo's. They came later on. That's why I want to go ahead and pass the parking areas and then have this service station issue resolved for the second reading when we go through the ordinances and make sure that we're not doubling the.
I think we kind of are, because in order for there to be a charging station parking structure, the franchise fee has to be part of that language. So it is going to delve into my original legislation, which was done last year. Look into it.
Okay, if you have charging stations in, let's say, Dolphin Mall.
Right.
They put it there, they have to pay a fee to the city.
Correct.
Through permitting and all that.
Correct.
Your section is totally separate from this. All I'm saying is that you're required to have X amount on the mall, or X amount in a parking garage. Whatever franchise fee.
You're putting numbers and amounts.
That's it.
Got it.
Okay.
Secondly, before it was one car per unit of 4 beds. It was one car.
For 4 beds, it was, yeah, two,
because it was 0.5.
Two parking, 0.5.
It was 0.25, no?
0.5. It was always 0.5.
Okay.
So point.
I'm all for you putting one per bed. One of the issues that I have is the parking meter that's in front of 109 Avenue Southwest 6th Street, in between 6th and 5th Street. So we never voted anybody here to put a parking meter there, and what we did is we basically screwed those businesses by requiring their clients to now have parking meters in front of their businesses. Anybody here vote on that? No. I personally don't want parking meters to be required by businesses. I understand in our passport office and here in City Hall, but I don't think that was a good idea. I'm not saying you did it, but whatever. Now, explain the tandem parking to me.
Tandem parking is when you park one car behind each other to make up for parking spaces because you don't have enough area. So you park one and you have a valet service. You give it to a person and they park it one behind each other, or you stack them up. Like in downtown, you have them, the electronic and mechanical parking. Like you stack them up.
All right, so I
But
know
you have to have
A valet for that.
So I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to create structure here. I'm not gonna kill you in first reading. I'm just asking you to clean it up because it does need to get cleaned up a little bit. Would you agree?
Okay. Right.
And then
We'll talk
hopefully in
about it.
second reading, we'll have smooth sailing.
We'll talk about it to see what.
Maybe
what
you
your
want to take me.
concerns are.
I don't know. Maybe you want to take me to lunch, bro. I don't know. You know, maybe I want to take you to lunch.
That would be better.
I second that.
I move.
Okay, no, I got one more.
Should've just-
I went
should've
ahead
just
and,
moved.
I went ahead and 4.03.06. I thought about, always the commission's been talking about putting parking structures or buying land to go ahead and.
I didn't
do
want to touch
parking.
that part yet.
Well, this parking trust fund is if a developer is developing a piece of property and they say that he's required 100 parking spaces, but he doesn't have the space and he doesn't want to go to a variance and he wants to buy down parking spaces. What this parking trust does is there'll be a fee for each parking space that he buys down. It goes into the fund, and when the city has enough funds, you can purchase or build a building.
I'll tell you what I think about that. I'd much rather create a Sweetwater parking authority, which would be another revenue source, another government entity here in the city of Sweetwater. When you're doing that, especially in the University City District, you're basically telling a developer that they can pay roughly about $3 million and they don't have to adhere to the parking
Get out of
situation.
parking.
And we get tired of getting these phone calls of these students are parked in my driveway and they don't care. So I would never want a developer to be able to pay into something. I don't want to touch it
I agree with you.
because developers just want to get it done.
No, I agree with you, but there will be a fee that will be set on the parking. The commission will go ahead and decide if he wants to buy all of them, 100 parking spaces. The commission may say, no, you could only buy 10.
Right.
But it will be up to the commission to see how much they want to buy down.
I get you.
But it's up to the commission. If
Yeah,
you don't.
I personally want to see you on this item and take you guys to lunch because you're long overdue. So I'm gonna move it on first reading, and then we'll see what's what.
All right, there's a motion by
Marquito.
and second by Ray. Roll call, Madam Clerk. First reading.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Hi. Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes.
Item 11G, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Article 9, Administration and Enforcement, Section 9.02, Nonconforming Lots, Uses, and Structures, creating Section 9.03.04, Prima facie evidence for illegal residences, for illegal residential uses, and 9.03.05, unity of title requirements for residential developments of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Code, providing for a repealer clause, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez and zoning official. And if I can suggest, George, that you explain to the commission exactly what a unity of title is. That'll be important.
Okay. A unity of title, when you're building a property and you want to tie two parcels together, and you don't want later on in the future to be able to.
I'm sorry, you said parcels?
Parcels.
All right.
So you don't want, you put a unity of title to do a development, but sometimes the developer is very wise and they do it in a way that they keep the other parcel, they use the parcel for their own purposes to do the development, but then, and they have a unity of title, but then again, later on, if they didn't have that unity of title, they went ahead, they could sell that other parcel to somebody else where there's nothing there. And then they leave you with a non-conforming parcel and structure.
Gotcha.
So the unity of title ties everything together.
Gotcha. Do I have a motion? Anybody want to discuss?
Second.
Moved by Marquito, second by Ray. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Yanio. Commissioner Vallecillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Marti.
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
And Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Item passes. Item 11H, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Article 1, General Provisions, Section 1.02, Definitions. Article 2, Zoning, Section 2.04.08, Special Commercial District. Section 2.0500, University City District Regulation of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Code, providing for a repealer clause, providing for severability clause, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez and zoning official.
Yes, I want to say something before I keep going. Items F, G, H, I, and J. You've received a package from the clerk that they've already went through the Planning and Zoning Board on last Wednesday. So they reviewed it and they made, if they had comments would have been there. So the package is given to, it says Planning and Zoning Board on it, and there was a package of five one-pagers. Just for your information. So basically, this is just, again, fixing up certain sections of the code. Definitions of nightclub. I had a definition of nightclub in one part of the code that didn't coincide with the definition of nightclubs in the alcoholic section of the code. So what basically that first section is, I struck out what nightclub definition was under section 1.02 and referred it to chapter 6 of nightclub definitions. And if you like, I'll read out the nightclub definition for that. Nightclub means an alcoholic service establishment where such businesses serves as a place of entertainment open at night, providing music and space for dancing and often having a floor show. A nightclub shall provide floor space at least 400 square feet in one unit and on the same floor, suitably prepared for dancing, free from tables and chairs, and no other obstruction at all times, and generally exceeds 5,000 square feet of gross floor area. That's the definition of nightclub under the liquor. And if you look at the definition that was stricken out, it was very weak. That's my reason for doing that change. And then the University City, what was taken out was the sections of the parking and all that. Everything was taken towards the new area of Article 4, which we just went over on the parking.
Move. Second. Moved by Marcos Villanueva, second by Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Vallecillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz.
Yes.
Commissioner Marti.
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio.
Yes.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Item passes. Item 11I, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Article 5, accessory structures, creating section 5.07.00, temporary structures and uses, 5.08.00, boat storage, 5.0900, recreation and camping equipment, 5.10.10, outdoor boat and RV storage, and 5.11.00, permanently installed generators of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Code, providing for a repealer clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
George, go ahead.
Yes, this again is this section of Article 5, which is ancillary uses. We went, looked into temporary structures and the uses, boat storage. I've seen that there's a lot of, in certain areas that you have some properties that have 4 and 5 boats, especially I've seen them on 7th Street. It regulates the number of boats. It regulates the number of recreational equipment. It also tells you about the generators, where they could permanently install generators, so they coincide with the building code.
Through the chair.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marcos.
No, if you want to have a question, I'll go after you.
No, I was gonna talk to you about the boats.
So was that.
Okay.
Okay, so can you go a little bit more on that? Where is it here? Because I know I marked it on the other day, but I don't see it here now.
You see it in the 5.08.
Oh, wait, okay.
It's the first page of the
All right.
Exhibit A.
The other way down.
Yeah, it's at 508 right here, boat storage. No more than one, George?
You could have more than one. If you keep reading on the second page, it tells you a second boat may be permitted on the site if you have enough to put a second boat. Sometimes you don't have the space to put a second boat. So it's up to the official, the zoning director to make that judgment as far as a second boat.
Through the chair, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
The president is correct, George. 5.08.00 boat storage, subsection 1, no more than one such boat shall be parked on such site, period.
But go
I
to.
I understand it says go to, but
No.
then you have two conflicting.
No, go to the second, keep reading
I
on the
did.
second page.
I did.
Okay.
So you have two conflicting statements. You have one that says you cannot have more than one boat, and the second one says, well, you can, so long as it's not this big.
Well,
So-
I could change the language there to read.
Right.
Read, okay.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying. Is that all you have, Mr. President? Is that all the question?
Yeah, no, that's, I have a problem with that. I think whatever, we go back to, we talk about this once. I have a boat myself, and my boat, you can't even see it from the front. It's in the back. But there's some people that have they don't have no yard in the back to put the boat, or the RV, or the trailer, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I have a problem with that. I think, I'm not happy with this. The boat and their, I believe you also have something on their RVs or trailers
Yes.
somewhere here.
Mhm.
509. 509.
509. Yeah. I mean, you were saying also that you're supposed to have certain amount of space between to have two boats. You don't have no space. Yes,
If you,
one boat, you're
in your
fine.
example, if you could park your boat in the back and put another boat in the front, you have the room. In some houses, you have a twin home, that you don't have space. All you have space is to park your cars.
Yeah.
Maybe you could put a boat in the front.
Yeah. I see.
But,
I see.
you know,
I see
you can't
exactly
have
what
two
you're
boats.
saying.
Well, it's up to this commission,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to look out for how the city looks.
Yeah, no, I understand, George, and listen, I go around the city all the time, and there's only one house here that have 3 or 4 boats, I think it is. They have the land, they have the lot for it. I haven't seen anybody there doing any mechanic or anything like that. You just park in there. Once the government start going into, like one of my colleagues here said one time, listen, if you want to have whatever, as long as I have a problem with light safety. When light safety come on, that's my problem. As long as you don't bother anybody, I think we're gonna be okay.
Okay.
This item, I'm not approving this one, so. Do I have a motion?
Hang on, through the chair.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're addressing trailers here?
Yes, I'm addressing recreation of camping.
So you can't have the trailer hooked up into sewer and water and be
No.
living in the trailer?
No.
Okay, because there's a few of those.
I know. And it's hard to catch because they're behind.
Well, we even have one in our yard.
Where? Well, but that's what?
Yeah, well.
That's
No, you're talking about the
property.
maintenance department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that wrong? Oh, I apologize.
All right, thank you.
Wanted to
With that,
jump
I
in.
yield.
Is that where you're getting at? The maintenance?
No,
Anybody?
there's,
Go ahead,
there's a
Ray.
few in my neighborhood that are, you can tell they're people that are hooked
Oh, so you're
up.
talking about the maintenance? I'm sorry.
Ray,
That
go
one
ahead.
It says here, it's, such parking shall be limited to such equipment owned or leased by the occupant owner or occupant leasee of the site. So they can't have, like, I can't park my boat in Saul's house, is that correct?
It's very hard for
No,
but basically what it's telling you is that you can
Yeah, so
use-
they won't rent them out to other
Right,
people and stuff, 'cause,
correct.
I mean, there's an app now that you can
That's
rent
it, right.
for people, so. Okay, no,
Right.
that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Do I have a motion?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Marcus.
So, George, I love what you're trying to do. And I think you're trying to create order in chaos. But unfortunately, our bosses, who are the constituents, sometimes they don't necessarily do the right thing. I can tell you one house, which is a duplex that has a boat that takes up all the parking spaces. But it's an elderly couple, and that's their son's boat, and the son died, and they don't know what to do with the boat. I know exactly what you're trying to do, and it obviously doesn't look good aesthetically. And I commend you for it. But I think this needs to be massaged a little bit. It's one of those good intention, bad delivery type situations. I rarely see Saul jump up. Rarely. But when he does, he does. So Saul's like a stallion. The only time he's gonna jump up is when a horse fly hits a stallion. If anybody knows about horses, that stallion is gonna buck. So good intention, bad delivery on this one. I think I'm with Saul. Where I want to be very careful how we massage this. Maybe put this one in the back burner. Let us massage it a little bit. You know.
Well, that's.
So I'm not gonna vote yes for it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and, there's any motion out there?
No.
Any motion?
Move.
Hold on, there's a motion.
No, there's no motion yet.
Hold on. You gonna say something about
Yeah.
this? Okay,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead,
have
go ahead. Right.
So we want to massage, like you're saying, you want to massage this, and Saul has some concerns. What are the concerns? What do we need to do to fix it? Because we're just gonna say no to the item. I mean, is there anything that you guys want to fix, that you guys want to jump into? Like you say, no more than one such equipment shall be parked on site. I agree with you. Or what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna say no to this, or?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you. Yeah.
So I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna vote no on it because I actually want to talk to those residents that it's gonna affect first. So that's why I'm gonna vote.
Okay,
no.
so that's what we're doing. No, that's fine.
That's me.
I just want to know what we're gonna do. Are we gonna just say no to this and then see what we do after, or are we gonna amend it now or anything like that?
I would prefer
Would you
to
like me
either
to
table
withdraw-
this item,
Table it?
and that way you give
That's
us some
what I'm saying,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
You can have a
That's fine.
legislative agenda, but it's gonna
There we
give
go.
me an opportunity to speak
There we go,
to
we
the
table it.
residents and say,
Yes.
Yeah.
wait, without, okay.
All right, George, so we're gonna table this one?
Yeah.
That's what I was
All
trying to say.
Thank you, George.
So George can either pull the item,
Yeah.
because it's first reading,
Okay.
and then just have it reset for August, or you can move with the second to have it reset for the first meeting in August, which I believe is August 1.
Or let it die.
All right.
Yeah.
George,
table
what
it.
do you wanna do? You wanna table it, or you wanna go ahead and let it die?
I'll table it.
All right?
Table,
Just
yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
table
but if you
it?
table it, you're tabling it to the next meeting.
Right.
Well, so that can only be done by the commission. You can pull it and reset it.
I'll pull it and I'll set it at
Okay,
the
good.
appropriate
So
time.
he's pulling
Thank
it.
you, George.
Thank you, George.
No, that's what I want to do.
I'm out.
All right,
Make sure.
item J. An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Article 8 Relief, creating Section 7.06.00 Unusual Uses of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Code, providing for a repealer clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
Again, this item is it's a weird item. Unusual uses are something that is not very common, but they do happen, especially now that we have new annexed areas which lakes are going to be excavated and all that, and it addresses that. It addresses farmers markets. That it addresses carnivals and circuses. You know, if they want to put some, we've had one previously.
That was the other day.
Sewer lift stations.
All right, I have a motion by Marcos Villanueva, second by Ray. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, pass.
Item K, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater City Commission amending Section 6-2, hours during which sales allowed, permits and public hearing are required, Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages of the City Code, providing for a repeater clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
George?
Yes, basically this is just adding some language to and fixing up the hours. The hours basically didn't change that much, mostly how it was set up. If you look at the previously what was stricken to what's underlined, I changed the classification types. I made them more specific. What else? I took out nightclub by itself, put it by itself, and the uses in the Dolphin Mall, which is they all tied together through resolutions. So those hours are through the Dolphin Mall, and basically that's it.
So
Just
this
trying
is
to make it more
determines the hours we're allowed to drink in City Hall? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Through the chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So then the hours that they can sell alcohol at alcoholic service establishments would be between 11 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Where are you reading it?
I'm just looking at sorry, is this the?
Exhibit A, page 3?
Which type of use?
6-2.
What type of
Page 3, Exhibit A.
Yeah, sorry. 6-2 exhibit A.
Establishment types.
Yeah.
Evidently, somebody's gonna start drinking at 11 a.m.
That's normal.
That's normal.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
lunch.
you
Yeah,
can
people go to lunch.
Yeah,
They eat pizza with beer.
at 11 a.m.
Pizza and beer for breakfast.
5 o'clock somewhere?
Yeah.
Hey, I've done it before.
Yeah, and then take a siesta afterwards. It's like in Spain.
I'm so disappointed in
All right,
all
let's
of
go,
you.
guys, let's go.
So,
Ian, go ahead.
so why is it? So I just want to know why is it that time frame, 11 to 1? So most cities that I've seen in Miami-Dade and Florida, 2 a.m. is an ideal time. So I just wanted to know why 1. And I saw that it was amended from 3. 3 is
So
definitely
which
too late.
establishment are you looking at?
Bars, taverns, and other similar alcoholic service establishments.
Yes. It used to be Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. So I made it Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Or 3 a.m. on weekdays. And then Fridays and Saturdays from 11 to 3.
Okay, so that stays the same.
And then Sundays from 12 noon to 1 a.m.
Mhm.
You get time to
Go
recuperate
to
for
church.
Monday.
You gotta go to church first.
Yeah, you go to church and then have a drink.
All right. So,
Praise the Lord.
So-
would you be willing to amend it to 2? I don't think.
No, I don't have, it's up to.
It's up to you guys. I mean, I don't really have a preference.
I
3
want
is
the
The
definitely.
2 on which one? On the bars and taverns?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Marcus.
So I think we all have the same vision that eventually on 109 Avenue, we're gonna have bars and cafes and stuff like that, right? Now, for those of you who are, well, we're all old enough to remember what the Grove used to be, right, Alex? You remember? And I think eventually 109 Avenue is gonna turn into something like that. Now, We don't want chaos, but I most certainly want to be on 109 Ave, an outdoor cafe, having a beer, having a scotch, smoking a cigar. And I don't want to be kicked out at 1 in the morning.
It's my suggestion, Monday through Thursday to 1 a.m.
What about ladies' night, bro?
Ladies' night.
Wednesdays, bro. Ladies' night. Remember Hot Wheels?
If you want 2 a.m., that's fine.
I'll tell you what. Later on, we'll when we get to that, maybe we'll amend it. But I don't have a problem with the way it is now. Commissioner Vallecillo wants to extend it till 2. I could care less. If he wants till 2, I give him a yes.
All right, let's do 2. Also, I have another question. I don't know if it's on here or not, but in order to, so bars, taverns, and alcoholic service establishments are allowed to exist in the city. Is it anywhere in the city or certain places?
Certain places.
Certain places, like what other certain places?
Like right now, believe it or not, the University City does not allow bars.
Does not allow. That's fine because it's residential down here.
Does not allow.
But
But I'm talking about this University City, not the residential area.
Okay.
But University City
Yeah.
does not allow bars. What it does allow is a restaurant that serves liquor.
What about in the northern part of the city?
Unless
You
they're
have the mall-
grandfathered
You
in.
have the mall and you have all the other,
Yeah.
whatever retail,
So
commercial establishments you have up there.
in that side of the city, or is there are breweries and or
No, not
cigar bars
breweries.
allowed
What
to
you have up
exist?
there is basically the hotel,
Mhm.
and I don't.
But
do you know
if
any
somebody
of- no,
wants to
there's not.
open a brewery there, can they in the northern side of the city?
Under the industrial, yes.
Okay, cool. What about like a cigar / bar type place?
yes, that's
So
what
they, and they don't have to serve food. I'm just trying to.
No, a
understand.
cigar is cigar. If
Yeah.
they want to have some liquor, then they have a distance of liquor
Yeah.
that they have to meet.
Like my colleague Commissioner Villanueva said, I want there to be places in a city that where you can smoke a cigar and have a
Yeah.
beer, and you don't have to buy food. You can just have a good
Beer
time.
or something.
Yeah, we don't have to sneak it in with a flask. You know
No,
what I'm
but they
saying?
could do it. They could do it, but you gotta keep some type of regulations. And under
Bring
the
your own
alcoholic
flask.
beverage, you gotta have a distance between beverage establishments.
Mhm.
And all
Okay.
they have to do is they meet the beverages because you can't be close to schools, you can't be close to another beverage establishment. So all that's standard to try to keep some distances between them.
Yeah.
Or come before the commission and say, hey, I want to put this next to a daycare.
Right.
Say for
But we're still allowed to drink in City Hall.
Yeah.
Right, Ralph?
It's a requirement.
What do you think the Sweetwater is?
It's 5 o'clock someplace.
All right, do I have a motion?
5 o'clock somewhere.
Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Yes by Villanueva?
Stand with
Second
So
by
are we
Yeah,
are we changing the time to 2?
Yes, yes.
We amended it to 2.
We're amending.
You need a motion to amend.
Motion to amend.
I'll make a motion that we amend the
Amend
time
it, right?
to
Oh,
2
yes,
again.
yes.
I just
Mr.
wanna
Chair,
make
real
it
quick.
clear. Okay.
Yes.
Before.
Amend it to
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. This is first reading, am I correct?
First reading, yes, sir.
You can amend on the
You can
fly.
amend it right now.
So he can amend it on the fly because it has not been read previously.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, so
Through the chair.
you
Go
can
ahead.
now move to the item over as amended.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So, what you're going to amend to 1 to 2, extending it to 2, which one is it? All of them, or just bars, taverns, and semi-alcoholic service
Well,
establishments?
basically, where you have it
Because they're all
is-
looking the same to
Where
me.
you have bars and taverns as 2. The bottle club. That one is 2.
And what about
the
lodging, private
the
club,
lodging-
restaurant?
The lodging is 2. Private club, there's not that many, and you have to get established by the state for a private club, but that could change to 2. Restaurants, 2.
Perfect.
Everything that says 1 is 2.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Nightclub
That's-
is 2.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to find out. Was
Okay.
just it was just
No,
going
if
to be
you-
the first item or all of them?
If that's the intent, we'll change everything to 2.
What about cafes?
Cafes, no,
It says
because
10
cafe,
p.m.
you have a certain amount of
Yeah.
seating in cafe. You can't have over 10 seats or something like that, so you wanna make it like into a bar, a cafe into a bar.
That's what my fellow Commissioner Villanueva
Yeah,
right here
hell
said. He
yeah.
wants to be on a cafe drinking a cigar.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I have a motion.
We have to be careful on the cafe.
Oh, fine.
Talking about cafeteria.
It's
I have a
more
motion
cafeteria.
by Marcos Villanueva, second by Marti, and this is gonna be amended.
So it'd be yes. as
Roll call,
amended.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Villanueva,
I believe it's Ruiz, like, because he's French. Yes. Yes.
yes. Commissioner Yanio,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes, as amended.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am. It passed.
Passes
As
as
amended.
amended.
Okay, item L, a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of Sweetwater.
That was what deferred.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me? Oh, that's deferred.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
deferred.
Okay. Is M still valid? Yes.
M's good. M.
M, a resolution of the City of Sweetwater Commission authorizing and directing the mayor to accept a right-of-way deed dedication as described in Exhibit A for highway purposes, providing and authorizing the recordation of said deed in the public records of Miami-Dade County, Florida, further directing the city clerk to keep copies of said deed. Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
Yes, this is an industrial property in the new area, 13th, between 130th and 132nd. The property is gonna develop the road, and as part of that development, they had to dedicate an additional 5 feet. That's what they're dedicating to us.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute, sorry. 1 second, Mr. President.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you familiar with the circle deal?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? There was a dedication of land.
Yeah, but this doesn't have to, this is not, nothing with that.
I understand, but I want to make sure that never happens again. So, they are dedicating, who's dedicating this to us?
The property owners that have the land.
Good.
They're dedicating it to the city.
And there is absolutely no intent that they require the city to give this land back later on.
It's right away, it's gonna be right away.
I understand, but the last situation was right away as well.
No, but the last situation, it's a little bit different. It was given to them for right of way,
I understand,
but
But
this
I-
one, they're giving it to us.
I just want to
for
make
right of
sure that we don't have that
we're
debacle
not.
ever
way.
again,
No, no,
because that took 3.5 years.
that's no.
Okay, move.
All right. Move.
Second.
Moved by Villanueva, second by Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Mr. Martinez bothering me, yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes. Sorry.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am. It passed.
Passes.
Item N, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater retaining Eiler Planning, Inc. to provide city planning services, adopting contract of the city, providing for authority, providing for funding, and providing for effective date. Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
George?
Yes, this is, we're gonna have to do our comprehensive master plan from basically almost scratch. We're adding the annexed area, and we're also taking care of a lot of things that are happening in the existing city right now. Eiler had previously done the comprehensive master plan. He has all the backup and all that. And we felt that, after speaking with the city attorney, this is a sole source. If we would have gone out to anybody else, they would have had to start from scratch, and it would probably would have cost us an arm and a leg more.
And
we'll also
if
take
I could
on-
interject here
Go
on
ahead.
this item and also the next one involving Pratt and Associates. Section 2-228, bids or requests for proposals required. All expenditures for contractual services except for professional services require sealed competitive bids. These two items unquestionably are for professional services. And there's a consequence that you do not need to go through the bidding process. The zoning official contacted me about this. He wanted to go through these two institutions because these entities, these people have extensive knowledge of the city and have worked with the city in the past. So there's the sole source issue that he had mentioned, and also the fact that Irrespective of that, you do not, since they're both professional services, you do not need to submit it to open bidding.
Through the chair.
Marcos, go ahead.
How much is Henrietta charging?
45 grand.
About 50,000. 51.
44,575.
Why does the number keep changing? 44, 51.
I don't know.
It's 40. It says
44, but then there's an additional
Additional
tax
fee.
that maybe, if
Okay.
we decide, that's 6,625.
Move.
That's what you're talking about?
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Marcos Villanueva, second by Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Marti,
Yes.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, he passed.
Item O, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater retaining Mario Pratt and Associates, Inc. to provide surveying and mapping services, adopting contract of the city, providing for authority, providing for funding, and providing for effective date. Mayor Lopez, zoning official.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Marcos.
Usually I won't interrupt you, but I have a concern. Mario Pratt sits on our planning and zoning board. Mario Pratt is my appointee to the planning and zoning board. And now a planning and zoning board member is putting in not an RFP or a sole source. There's no conflict of interest here? I think there is.
There might very well be a conflict of interest.
So he would either have to resign from his seat.
I don't know at this point if there is a conflict of interest or not. This is, if you want, excuse me?
I'm sorry, they did the annexation maps and everything for the city.
Okay,
Through the chair.
I don't know that there actually is a conflict of interest, but that would require.
Through the chair?
I have not.
It's my way of politely saying through the chair. Sir, can you please pull this item? By when do you need it?
Like yesterday.
You need it yesterday.
Yeah, I need to work with both these people.
I would like for us to do our due diligence and make sure that we're not doing something stupid.
If you give me a moment, I can try to
Can I
find
pull
this.
it and then keep going with the agenda and then?
If you have an emergency item
skip it.
later on, I'm just saying, I hate to, let me say this,
I
Ralph.
follow you.
Hold on. I hate to make Ralph do a game time decision like that, because it's not fair to him. And then later on, somebody's going to go, oh, well, look what he did, because we're trying to cover something up. We're doing this on the record. Mario Pratt is a personal friend of mine. I play golf with him every Wednesday at the Biltmore. He's an amazing individual. He has an amazing business. He sits on our planning zoning board. I don't think that it would be prudent. I mean, how much is this contract for?
It's 8 quarters, which is the sections, at $4,750. So 8 times 4,750. It's about $40,000, $35,000. Think.
I understand. I would just hate to
follow
get
you.
sanctioned
I follow
by.
you.
I have your answer. It's a violation.
Because of that.
It's a violation. No person included in items B1 through B6, which he's covered, shall enter into any contract or transact any business except as provided in subsection C2 and so forth.
So what are these options?
C2. hold on.
None. Pull the item, please.
C2.
Let's stop talking about it.
Employees and limited inclusion provision. They may contract. Administrator defined.
See, that's something you would do. You.
After the boys.
If Entering into the contract will not interfere with a full faith and discharge by the employer of his or her duties to the, here it says county, but applies to the city. The employee has not participated. The employee's job description will not require him to be involved in the contract in any way. Will anything that Pratt and Associates do have to go in front of the Planning and Zoning Board?
The maps themselves, no. That's all they're doing. All they're doing is the mapping.
It probably is not a violation. But that is a tentative opinion. That's not a
Okay,
conclusive
so
opinion.
I'll pull it and let Ralph make a solid opinion.
Look, it's very simple.
No, fine.
Pull the item,
Yeah.
talk to Mario Pratt, see if he wants to resign from his seat as a planning and zoning board member. I still think that would be a violation because he has to wait the 2-year county ordinance to conduct business. I don't think it's prudent. And again, it's a close personal friend of mine. I think it's a violation. I'll speak to him. I don't even know why he didn't call me to tell me about this item. But I don't feel comfortable any of us voting on this item. Just in an abundance of caution. I haven't used that word, by the way. In an abundance of caution. It's Ralph's favorite.
All right, so this is gonna be pulled. Do you have a motion to pull it out?
We don't. He needs to pull it.
I'll pull. You pull? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, start charting. Pete?
Whoa.
It's just a moment.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette after this. Holy crap, man.
Item P, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater authorizing donation of $10,000 to the Little Abner Foundation, Inc. during the 22-23 fiscal year budget, providing for authorization, providing for a date certain, and providing for effective date. Commissioner Daniel.
Okay, like every year, we go through the same thing. We have 3 nonprofit organizations that we are all approving the $10,000. That's gonna be effective after the budget, like we always do. But we have to go through it anyway.
You're an amazing individual,
Move,
Commissioner.
second.
Move
3 times, second.
All right, there's a motion by
Everybody.
Raid, second by Luis.
Luis.
I'm sorry to
Luis.
share. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is French.
Luis.
I have to recognize the absence of Mayor Commissioner Marti here.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yes, the absent of Marti, he had to leave.
Thank you.
Just make sure. he put
Commissioner
it on.
Marti.
Yeah, he had an emergency, he had to go.
Yeah, he gave me a gift and I told him I didn't like it. It's right here.
That's a 10.
Horrible picture
10-10.
of 1997.
Fine, let's go. So I have a motion. You got the motion?
Yes. and
Okay,
the second.
roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Yanyo,
Yes?
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
It's actually Villanova because he's Italian.
No, come on.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes.
Diaz.
Okay, I want to caution again on this one and on the one we just voted on and then the next two, because they're all essentially very similar, that just because these resolutions have been passed doesn't mean that the city commission can simply assume that the items will find their way into the budget. When you're in the budgetary process, especially in the main meeting, the one meeting that matters in December, you need to pay particular attention to ensure that these items actually are in the budget.
Correct.
Okay?
Thank you,
Yeah,
Robert.
we'll make sure.
By the way,
Thank you, Ron.
Make
well
sure.
done honestly.
With what?
Well, in your previous job,
Oh,
by the way, slick. Like, I was like, whoa, next level. You know what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Move!
Second.
Oh, the next one?
Yep.
Okay, actually, it's the same thing.
yeah.
No, hold on, we gotta
You
read
have
it
to read it.
first.
You have to read it.
Wait, we gotta read it first. We haven't read it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just did O, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so item P.
Well, 1 second, I'm sorry.
No, we
just
just
didn't read
P,
it
P.
properly.
We did P. Okay, Q. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater authorizing donation of $10,000 to the Community Performing Arts Foundation, Inc. during the 22-23 fiscal year budget, providing for authorization, providing for date certain, and providing for effective date.
Move.
Second.
There's moved by Ray, second by
Vice.
Ian. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Just wanna have to say something.
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
This is La Herrería, right?
No, no,
No.
that's the
Community Arts
Brian
Foundation.
Foundation.
Oh, this, no.
No,
This
community-
one
is
no.
Community Art.
Yeah,
This is La Herrería.
Oh, I saw, okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Commissioner Villanueva, sorry,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanyo,
Yes.
and Commissioner President Diaz.
Yes, pass.
Okay. A resolution of the City Commission, item R, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater authorizing donation of $10,000 to the Bryan Art Foundation, Inc. during the 22-23 fiscal year budget, providing for authorization, providing for a date certain, and providing for effective date. Commissioner Yanni.
Move.
Commissioner, we don't have to say anything
Second.
about the Brian
Second.
Foundation, I mean, what
Yeah.
can we say?
Second.
Third.
Okay, there is a motion by Marcos Villanueva, second by everybody.
You pick.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanyo,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
and Commission President Diaz.
Yes, ma'am. Pass.
Item S, nomination, consideration, appointment of members to the Youth Advisory Board.
Where are we with this, guys?
Okay, I have a nominee,
Oh, we have more.
Yeah, we-
Lucy Gonzalez.
We got staff item, no?
Yeah, but they have different letters.
They have different letters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
S is for the Youth Advisor Board, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I have Lucy Gonzalez. Would you please say your name so everybody can know who you are, please?
Good evening, I'm Lucy Gonzalez.
Go on.
Well, good evening, thank you for having me. I am here today because I'm very interested in being a part of the Youth Advisory Board. I am currently a senior at Downtown Doral Charter Upper School, and I have been my chapter's Future Business Leaders of America president for the past 3 years there. And I also enjoy participating in extracurriculars and activities throughout the community. I am here today because my friends Josh and Anthony had mentioned to me about the Youth Advisory Board of Sweetwater, and it really sparked my interest. Although I'm new to this and I might not know as of now everything about the board, I am very open to learning more about what this board has to offer and what we can do for the community along with the experience. And I'm interested in helping represent the youth in my community in a positive and honest way. Through different organizations and social groups that I've been a part of, I've been able to grow as a leader and develop skills that I believe will help me as a member. So thank you for your time and consideration.
And obviously, she's very shy in public speaking.
Yeah. Lucy, you're a natural born public speaker.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent
I
job,
also
young
have my
lady.
nomination for the Youth Advisory Board.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Abel Carvajal. Can you please? Thank
That's
you.
a snazzy jacket, kid.
Thank you.
I'm the tie, I love it, man.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, good evening. My name is Abel Carvajal. I'm a senior at Florida International University. I will be graduating in a month with my bachelor's degree in political science. A little bit about me. I did teen court back in high school. So these were juvenile offenses where we would try in diversion court a teenage offender, hence the name teen court. And I did about 75 trials. I did about 60% prosecution, 40% defense. That was the highlight of my public service back when I was in high school. A bit about me, I'm actually 19, and I'm a senior in college. I just did a bunch of dual enrollment credits
Good
and
job,
APs.
kid.
Thank you. And I currently do outreach. I do Hispanic outreach in one of the two major political parties in their campaign. And, well, I enjoy the opportunity to serve my youth and my community once more. So thank you very much for your
And
nomination.
which party is
Thank you,
that?
Abel.
The Red Party, the Republican Party.
Okay, kid.
Okay.
All right.
You're
All
hired.
right.
Thank you, Abel.
You're hired.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the Beehive.
Thank you.
And you're not a rhino, right?
Anybody else? Anybody else got a name?
Hey, who are we missing, by the way, so we can get this damn show on the road, so we can
So,
get these kids?
actually, we just have, what was your name again, sir?
Abel
Carvajal.
Abel.
All right, so congratulations, guys. We officially have enough members to get the meetings going. We have 5, so that's a
Five.
quorum, right?
That's a quorum.
That's a quorum.
Five
There's still
members,
room
thank
for 2 more members, but they can at least get started.
Who's missing? That's what.
Yeah, who doesn't have a member yet on
I
the
don't
commission?
remember. I think
Marti, I think. Commissioner Marti doesn't have someone, and
Who else doesn't have a member?
Do you?
Saul, do you? Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I got Chris.
I have my original member.
You have your original. Is your original member still within the age between 16 and 25?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have yours. So then we have 6
So we have
members
6
then.
then.
So only Marti's missing.
So, let's give these kids some direction.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they're going to meet, and then what?
Yeah.
Play patty cake?
Yeah, I'm planning on. Am I allowed to say something I want to propose in the future since everybody's here?
It's sunshine, bro.
You're yes, but you're outside the agenda. You will have comment
Comments,
section
yeah.
at the end, so perhaps you want to say a few
Okay.
words.
All right.
Okay. T?
All right, so
Okay,
let's
T.
get the ball rolling on that, guys.
Nomination, consideration, appointment of members to the Business Development Advisory Board.
I should have my next for the next meeting.
Next meeting.
All right, that's my board. Thanks a lot.
All right.
What's
All
gonna be
right.
yours? I wanna
Item
put
U.
yours.
You?
You. Nomination, consideration, appointment of members to the Neighborhood Improvement Advisory Board.
That's a tree planting one.
No, it's a lot more than tree planting, but city beautification, making the city look nice. There's a lot of different ideas, a lot of different things they can do.
Alright.
But I think we have a couple of people here that want to be part of that board, so they would like to address the commission. I know Javier. Josh, did you want to be on that board? No? Okay, that's true. All right, we're gonna miss you, brother. All right, so we have Javier. Do you want to make your pitch to the commission, see if somebody nominates you?
That's a snazzy suit, kid.
Sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Javier Morejon, 1456 West 39th Place, Hialeah, Florida, 3302. I was born and raised in Hialeah. Been there my whole life. But through the city of Sweetwater, I've been able to enjoy part of my childhood. My father's Cuban native, so 107th raised pizza. I was there all the time. My mother's Nicaraguan, so we were on Flagler with the Rospados and the carne asada as well.
What's his name? Javier.
I want to be able to express to the next generation what I enjoyed growing up here in the city of Sweetwater. So there you go.
You're my guy.
So the
Taking
next
that.
generation can enjoy that
First dibs.
as I have in my childhood. Currently, I do serve on the county's Historic Preservation Board. I was appointed by Rene Garcia. I do work on the oldest surveying and mapping firm in the state of Florida, well, in South Florida, which is Biscayne Engineering, and that is all.
Good
I
job,
appoint Javier Morejon.
Okay, Madam Clerk, Ray is pointing
Javier Morejon.
Javier Morejon.
To the chair,
Go ahead.
can I have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't we skip?
No, it's just different letters.
Different letters. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
go
gonna
now to the
continue.
staff now.
Yeah.
Okay, no, because it's almost there.
Okay, so
You don't have anything here?
So for neighborhood improvements, who do we have? I have Leo, Ray has Javier. Oh, you have Rolando Mendez.
Yeah, they were Rolando Mendez.
So
Excuse
did anybody
me,
else have
This is
any?
for item,
This is
You.
You,
Yes,
correct.
ma'am.
okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
So we have Javier
Leo
and Rolando
and
Mendez.
Rolando Mendez. So we need 2 more to have the quorum.
Okay.
All right. All right, we're gonna go to,
V.
Okay, staff item V, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 10, Boards and Commissions, Division 1 generally, of the City Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for effective date. First reading, Commissioner Vaiasia.
Commissioner?
All right, so this is a ordinance which I call Uniform Board Rules. Does not affect the Police Pension Board or the Elected Official Board or the Planning and Zoning Board. Doesn't touch those boards. It only touches the boards we were just appointing people to, which were neighborhood improvements, youth advisory, and the business development. So I just saw some holes in all these boards that we created, so I just wanted to bring everything up to date with one unifying ordinance. So basically, some points of what this does, it sets up when meetings should be held for all these boards quarterly. Monthly is not realistic just yet. Maybe later we can go to monthly if they start working out. If the meetings start working out and meeting more, and there's need to meet more frequently. But right now, quarterly should be good, so every 3 months. It sets up an official appointment process, which would be email the city clerk your interest and your resume to distribute to the commission, which is what I've been telling people to do that have approached me about joining boards. I also included in there that members of all these boards must be U.S. citizens. Thank you, Commissioner Villanueva, for that idea. It was for another thing, but I wanted to apply it here as well. I also amended that the term should coincide with the commissioner's term, but the commissioner can also replace the member whenever you want. So you don't have to keep nominating the same person every year. They're good for as long as you're there. It sets up an oath requirement. They're required to take an oath of office. It doesn't have to be actual ceremony. It could just be with the clerk. They just sign the form.
No, let's give them a ceremony. I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Do we have to amend that to throw that in, or we could just do it off the book or whatever?
You can. Well, you can do it right now because
Okay.
it has not been considered by the commission.
Okay, so
one
then-
thing that before we go on, one thing that I would like to add is that section 2-403, the word "current" is underlined and should not be underlined.
Okay.
So you can amend it on the fly to remove the underline and to add whatever language you want to add right now.
Where was that?
The underline is probably like a typo or something.
Well, it was for your purposes when I was amending it and showing it to you. I just didn't reset it, but the word "current" is you wanted the word "current" in there. It's just
Okay.
the underline is extraneous.
Yeah, just to distinguish between current and former.
Yeah.
So all right, so I will amend it then to remove the underline, and then in the appointments section, put that they shall have a swearing-in ceremony, and there could be a separate swearing-in ceremony, or they could actually swear in once they're appointed.
I think that's nice.
That's when they're appointed, right?
Yes.
Okay, they can do that. So, all right, and then also adds 2 things that cover some loopholes. The use of the city's name and trademark, so that members of the boards don't go out there using the city's name. That, oh, I'm a official of the city of Sweetwater. We don't want that happening. Also, protections for for cities, if they decide to get a shirt made with the city seal on it, they can only use it in the board meeting and not wear it to other things unless the commission approves of it. If they have to go to an important event for something pertaining to that board and we decide to send that board member or board members there, we are able to do that.
Can I interject, Ian?
Sure.
I'm all about marketing the city. I don't have a problem with these kids wearing the city shirt. I mean, they're probably going to put it on with pride, and they're going to represent the city well. I mean, I don't expect anybody to do anything stupid like, go to a strip club and, say, I'm the mayor.
Yeah.
I personally don't have an issue with promoting the city of Sweetwater and having these kids, be proud to wear those shirts and the city seal and say they're on a particular board. I mean, who knows? If they're single, maybe they get a little action out of it. Who the hell knows?
To the hair.
Go ahead.
So it would say the seal plus it would say the name on the board, right?
I don't have a problem with it.
On the t-shirt?
Yeah, I don't care.
What
Yeah.
you're looking for?
Yeah, they can have a shirt made if they want, or you could purchase your board member a shirt if you want to, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, let them wear the shirt, bro. These guys
All right,
wear
yeah,
the shirt.
okay.
Anything else?
It should be up to their discretion, so we can.
That's it, bud?
Scratch that? Yeah, scratch that section 2-405 off.
So
of there.
amend that.
Amend that. I hereby amend that part.
So move as amended.
All right.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Villanueva, second by roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, Louise. It's French.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes, it's amended.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes, as amended.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes, as amended.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, as amended, and it passed.
Okay. If I could, Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes, sir.
just get together with me probably Wednesday if possible, so we can go over the amendments that have been made, so I can make sure to get it in here in the way that you had intended, okay?
Oh, yeah, I'll be playing golf.
Okay.
on Wednesday.
Item W, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, amending section 8.04.02, paren A of the Land Development Code regarding the appointments of members of the Planning and Zoning Board, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for effective date. And this is going to include the deletion of the language regarding freeholders. Is that correct, Commissioner Vice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the text that's been provided here, as Mr. Suarez pointed out, is incorrect, but there will be a deletion of the language involving freeholders.
Okay.
All right. And so, look, plain and simple, guys, this ordinance, all it does is change how members are appointed to the Planning and Zoning Board. Now it's not just that you have to own land in the city. Now you can just be a resident of the city for 2 years and a U.S. citizen. Make sure to stick that in. I made sure to stick that in. And just like the commission, you just have to be a resident of the city, whether you own or whether you rent.
Move. Also perfect. Move. Second.
Right, there is a motion by Mr. Ray, second by Mr. Isidro Ruiz. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Yes, ma'am.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, pass.
Now, that item will have to be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Board for approval.
Yes, that will be.
Say again?
It has to be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Board for approval because it is a textual change to the Land Development Code, which is required by the city code for them to review.
Here's a good question. Let's say they vote no.
It's advisory.
So at this point, it's just ceremonial.
It's advisory.
Another word for,
Well, there are many reasons why the city commission might want a planning and zoning board of non-elected officials to weigh in on a decision. Perhaps there's a decision that's politically difficult to make. And the planning and zoning board, given that they're not elected, may give you an answer that you may wish to follow that answer and adopt that answer simply because it's a very politically difficult decision to make, and then you can just simply say, well, we just follow the recommendation of planning and zoning board. So there's a rationale for having.
so what I mean by it is, you're saying the planning and zoning board has to vote upon this item.
Yes.
Realistically, it's not, if they vote no, it's not like, oh, we can't move forward.
No, it's
It
advisory
is a
only.
ceremonial vote.
Yeah, it is advisory only. However, the second, it can't come to the commission for second reading without it having been passed by the planning and zoning board.
All right, so you all talk to your planning and zoning people.
All right.
Okay, item X. An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, establishing sustainability standards for new property developments, providing for standards for electric vehicle charging stations, providing for standards for certain construction, providing for incentives, providing for penalties, providing for definitions, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for effective date. First reading, Commissioner Vallecillo.
All right, so this is a big one. This is established, this is an actual sustainability plan for the city of Sweetwater, which is, I think is very important. Now, sustainability doesn't mean environmentalist or by not passing and I'm not saying that by not passing this, we're gonna be underwater tomorrow. I'm not Tom Gustafson, if anyone knows who that is. But the sustainability basically means the efficient use of energy. So we instill certain standards for new constructions, new developments that will cause them to reduce their energy consumption. In the long run, it's going to save them money anyways. So, efficient use of energy. All right, this is a long one. And so I just wanted to make the statement that this does not negatively impact any existing Sweetwater business or resident. This is only for new developments, someone coming in to build something, and that's when it applies. Or if there's a substantial remodeling or renovation of a building, which in the language I put in here is 90%. If you have to remodel 90% of the the building or whatever it is, then you have to include these standards. Now, this doesn't create any taxes. Only developers have to deal with these costs, but it's beneficial to them in the long run. And then the LEED and Envision standards are optional. There's certain incentives provided at the end to the zoning department that they can give to someone, or a business that decides to build their structure with these formulas. So, just wanted to go through it real quick.
Through the chair.
Well, I'm still going through it.
Hold on,
And
Marcus.
yeah, I'm still going through it. And one of the things this includes is electric vehicle charging station. And this ordinance is very similar to the one that George just proposed. The only thing is mine adds a few things that I think were very important to add. For example, level 3 charging stations. The city, the turnpike is a alternative fuels corridor, which means it's eligible which means that level 3 charging stations are entitled to federal grant funds. So we can actually put level 3 charging stations in the city and have them funded from federal funds. So that's why I mentioned level 3s in there. So that's important to add. And also in the electric vehicles section, what did I add? I added that it doesn't just apply to new constructions, but also substantial renovations. Also ADA compliance, that's a big one. A lot of federal grants require that some of these charging stations be ADA compliant. I'm not really sure how that works.
They have space on the sides.
But I wrote it in there how an ADA compliant charging station is supposed to be. It's also requiring that the charging stations that are installed be dual units. It's one unit that has 2 plugs. So that way you have 2 spaces per vehicle. Also in the fees area, I added that they can charge fees. So the way it works is a development would install a charging station or at least have it EV ready, which means that the conduit and everything that they need is installed. It's like having the plug there ready, and then you just plug the charging station in. It's much cheaper in the long run than coming back later, tearing everything up to install it. So that's why this is required for new developments. I added occupancy fees. That's important because there's a problem with electric vehicles that someone's charging the car and then they stay there all day, but other people got to charge too. So it's sort of like if they are fully charged and they continue to leave their car there, this is actually a penalty assessed to them by the charging station operator, the owner of the site. And if the city decides to get some charging stations, the city can actually make some revenue off of that, off of charging for people to use charging stations and occupancy fees. So it's more revenue. Also, I mentioned your ordinance, Commissioner Villanueva, that the franchise fee of $250 to make sure that's in there, so you see how that fits in there. Didn't change it at all. It's still in there. They still have to pay the $250. Advertising. The advertising could be included on charging stations, just like on bus benches. And then, of course, that they can't put anything obscene or immoral or lascivious. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word.
Lascivious.
Lascivious. So the same requirements for bus benches. So a site host, which is let's say they decide to build another mall in the city, they have to install charging stations. They can also sell advertising on the charging station, so they can make additional revenue in. I don't know if we're allowed to, but is there a way that we can put that they have to give a little portion of that revenue to the city?
Could you repeat that again? What revenue we're talking about?
Franchise fee.
Franchise.
For the charging station revenues with occupancies and with advertising revenues, is there a way that we can put in here? I thought of this just now. A way that we can put in here that they have to pay the city, the vendor that has the charging station has to pay the city a percentage of those advertising.
Probably not, but I'll look into that.
Okay, perfect. And then we could amend that, if it's possible, then amend it for the second reading. And then I added another big part, unplugging of charging vehicles. When a vehicle is charging on a charging station, when there's 2 vehicles charging, it splits the charge. So each car is now splitting the 120 volts or whatever may be that's coming out of there. So now each car is charging slower. So what's happening is people are unplugging other people's cars while they're charging so that theirs charge faster, and that's kind of messed up. Well, that is messed up. You're really inconveniencing the person because they're getting out of whatever they're doing, expecting to get to a fully charged car, and it's not charged because someone unplugged it. So this is putting in there, making it prohibited and putting in a $500 fine for if they get caught. And they will get caught because part of this also requires a camera to be watching the station. And also Teslas have cameras all around, so then the person will actually see who's unplugging their vehicle and can save that video and send it to the city, and you can assess a fine to that person. So that is definitely something that has to happen. Let's see. Now, moving on from the charging station part, permeable pavers. By the way, the charging station part, I did get cleared by the County Ethics Commission and by our city attorney, so there's no conflict of interest because I'm not an officer of that company. I'm not making any money off of this, and this is not giving that company a
special benefit.
A special benefit. It's not giving them a contract. Now, if the city decides one day to hire Blink Charging to install charging stations in the city, then there I would have to recuse myself when we're approving that contract.
Exactly.
But for this is just something that needs to be done, and I've been wanting to do this since even before I worked at that company. I've been into EVs for a while now. This is something that really needs to happen. You know, we need to put on these regulations for it, and all this stuff here. And then for new developments, the other stuff that's in here, permeable pavers, hurricane windows, trees, cool roofs, hurricane windows, that's a no-brainer. The state already requires you to have hurricane roofs, so then this is adding, okay, new developments, you gotta put hurricane windows in there too. Permeable pavers, trees, cool roofs. A cool roof is just a roof that reflects the sunlight and makes the building be cooler inside. It reflects the heat, the sunlight. The building is now cooler inside, so then therefore you use less electricity because your air conditioning works less. And then at the end are all the incentives you get from following these new code and regulations. So it's very complex. I understand. So I'm sure you guys have questions.
Okay, Marcos?
Thank you, Commissioner. You're absolutely right. It is extremely complex. Although I have to commend you. This is bold. This is visionary stuff. So I commend you on that. When did we receive this?
When I received this earlier this week, like on Wednesday, I think.
So I didn't get it on Wednesday. I got this today.
Oh, okay. Well, it was emailed out.
I don't know if did anybody else get it today? Okay. So this is my issue. This is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one thing. To digest it one day, let's just say 4 days. No problem. Here's my first question. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Building and zoning. Have you guys reviewed this item?
Briefly, I looked it over.
You're a really nice guy. That's a no. Got it. Before killing this thing, I want to be supportive. I want to do our due diligence. I got this today, and I know nothing about EV charging stations other than the companies that I invest in. Your company is one of them. Plug's another. I like to diversify. But since I know nothing about this, and in government I rarely say that, since I know nothing about this, I want to learn more about this. Mm-hmm. And what we're doing here is we're actually adding to the building code. So instead of me voting no, I want to be prudent. I want to do our due diligence. I want you to sit down with them, and then I can sit down and I can digest this thing. So this is not a no from me. This is a request of, can you give me a little bit to digest it? Because everything that you just said sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. I know you guys have no idea what that is. Right. To add a few things to your legislation, you're adding a $500 fine if somebody disconnects it. Well, let me give you a little more incentive. We have the ability, I don't know if you know this, to make it criminal. And we could actually create law that puts people in jail. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So
just don't want to put people in jail for unplugging a vehicle. That's
I
a
would.
little extreme.
I would. Why are you touching my car? Why are you unplugging my car if I have an emergency that I'm timing it and now I can't? So these are things that I want to debate and dialogue about.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, I like your legislation. I just don't understand it. It's too much to digest. So as a professional courtesy, I'm simply asking you to pull this item, give me a little bit of time so you can talk to them in building and zoning. Let's do our due diligence because it's going to be part of our building code and they have no idea what's in this. That's all I'm asking. With that, I yield.
All right. So to respond to that, I did send it out. We did send it out, I believe, Wednesday, right, Ralph?
I don't recall.
Wednesday
I
or
can
Tuesday.
get you an exact.
It was emailed.
I can get you an exact.
It was emailed out to everyone. And also, this is an ordinance, so it has two readings, so we can still pass it now and then make the changes that we need for the second time. And I am going to get with George this week where we discussed that beforehand to make it fit into our code. I tried my best to make it fit into the code, but I definitely will go over it with Vera this week.
Okay.
So your response to my request is go
No,
pound sand.
you have time to
Go pound sand.
No, but you have time to look at it because there's still going to be another reading.
Got it. Go pound sand.
Thursday the 7th.
Understood.
It went out Thursday the 7th.
Thursday the 7th, okay.
Thursday.
Mhm.
Cool. Yep. Got it.
The second reading will be when?
Next meeting.
The second reading would be August 1st.
August 1st, in 3 weeks.
Well, actually, it would have to go to planning and zoning
I
first,
don't know
right?
that it would have to go to, well, all right, it does not have to go to the planning and zoning board. I don't think so. This is not a change to the zoning. It's not a textual amendment to the land development code. It's a creation of a brand new section in the city code that affects building, but is more broadly based than that. It's under Chapter 34, Environment. So I don't know that it needs to go to second reading anywhere. You can, however, if you wish, meet with Mr. Vera and Mr. Salazar if you feel you need your input with them, or if anybody feels you need their input from them. Otherwise, it will go on the October 1st. August 1st.
Okay.
Hearing meeting.
Yeah. So look, we would still have time. You guys still have time to study it if you didn't already look at it. And then I definitely am going to get with George and Manny this week to iron everything out, especially the EV charging part, since our ordinances are very similar. But I think my ordinance, in my ordinance, the EV charging thing puts very important things in there that we need to have. So I want to go forward with it, and either way, whatever changes need to be made will be made by the second reading.
Now, if I can add one other thing here, because I'd mentioned this to George, the titles of both ordinances speak of standards for electric vehicle charging stations. So each ordinance, if both of them are going to pass, each ordinance has to include some language about that. It cannot be deleted because it's in the title. However, it can be nominal. You can have, if you decide to remove that portion from yours and go with George's, a line saying that it as found elsewhere in the code. EV charging stations are required as found elsewhere in the code. And at that point, you comply with the title.
Yeah, I don't think we would have to change the title.
Yeah, no, you can't change the title.
Yeah, I don't want to change the title. We don't need to. Everything's still going to be in there that's mentioned in the title. Just the EV parts of the EV thing might be different by then.
Yeah.
But that's not going to change that EV charging's in there.
Yeah.
Because again, mine has a lot of extra things that Mr. Veras did not have. So both, I don't think there'll be an issue.
I'll move this for now. Wait for that.
Okay, I got a motion by Ray. You have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ian. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Yanio,
To be honest, I'm not sure because again, I'm not familiar with anything that is saying on the. I didn't have the time to go over everything, so I think we should be getting more time on it. So it's now.
Commissioner Vallecillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruiz,
This is the first reading, so I'm gonna do my homework. Yeah, it's a yes for me.
Commissioner Villanueva.
I want to vote no.
I'm
I
sorry,
really do.
I need time.
I want to vote no
I need time.
because
It's not that
I don't
I'm-
understand this, and I asked you for professional courtesy, you didn't do it. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you the professional courtesy you're not giving me. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you a yes, and I really don't want to. Move out of the way, so we'll look at him in the face.
Thank you, Commissioner, I appreciate it.
Do you?
I do.
Because the last time we spoke, I told you something, and I told you I was waiting for something.
And that's coming.
Still waiting.
That's coming in Commissioner's report.
Okay.
All right.
So, as a kumbaya olive branch, it's very rare that me and Idania vote, wrong, differently, because we're
No,
ESPN.
because I don't understand any of it.
I get
and
it. I get it. I'm gonna vote
but
yes.
I will support him.
I'm gonna
you
vote
know,
yes for now.
After I read everything.
And I would respectfully request my colleague, Commissioner Yanyo, to reconsider her vote.
Okay, I'll take it back. Can I take back my vote and re-vote against her?
You've already voted. It has not actually closed, so yes. So you can pull it at this point and
Okay, I'm
re-vote
gonna
again.
put my vote.
Because the vote has not closed yet.
Okay, so I'm putting my vote and I'm gonna say yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And thank you, Commissioner.
Commission President Diaz.
Yes, it passed.
All right.
12.
I have to learn more. I have no clue
I'll
what
go
you're
ahead and-
talking about.
Okay,
Sorry, I
that
geeked
is
out.
it for the staff items.
Yep. That's done now.
We have reports at this point.
12, reports, police and code enforcement report. It looks like
Not
it's
there.
attached, not that.
Not there.
Park and recreation report. Not there. Maintenance department report.
There.
The city attorney report.
I have a couple of items to discuss, but I would prefer to discuss them individually with each of you at a future date. Since
Not
the-
at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm usually up at the crack of dawn.
Just saying, I ain't gonna pick up the phone.
That's it, Robert?
That's it.
I mean, Rob, that's it? Okay. Mayor's report. Commissioner report.
Oh, I have to share.
Go ahead.
I have
Sir,
to.
I just want to ask you a question. I think last time we were talking about the $68,000 that Sofia Lacaya was supposed to give
Right.
back to the city.
She ran out of
And then
money.
you mentioned that they sent a letter saying they're no willing to pay it, but you said you're going to get together with us, but you went on
Right.
vacation.
That is one of the items that I'd like to discuss individually with you. I've already spoken to several commissioners about this.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
She has to get another
So
loan to get back.
tomorrow I'm in a deposition all day,
And the PPP.
but I will be free. This is actually a very difficult week. I will be free Wednesday morning, and then I'm in a deposition on Thursday, but I'll be free Friday. So we can speak either Wednesday morning or Friday or sometime next week.
Oh, okay.
It's I don't want to say it in public is what it is.
No, it's okay, fine. So you're going to be getting hold of us by phone, whenever you're
Yes,
ready.
yes, yes.
You're available.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. That's what I know.
Okay. Ian?
All right, I was gonna ask about that, but I do have another thing.
Okay.
So, 2 commission meetings ago, I think it was, Commissioner Villanueva and I disagreed on an item. I don't remember what it was, but I said something about the item that we should put if we pass that, we should. Oh, it was about making employees have to come to the commission meetings, and that I pretty much called the item communist because I said that we should put a hammer and sickle there if we pass it. I know that I realized that was a little uncalled for. I didn't want to do this because, as a man, you got pride and stuff, but I'm a Christian, and this has been searing in my conscience that, oh man, I gotta do something about this. I'm a church going guy. I go to church every Sunday, and it kept me up some nights. Like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. That's messed up. So I just wanted to apologize to Commissioner Villanueva for going a little too far in that item. We disagreed on it. I should have just left it there. So do you accept my apology, Commissioner?
Of course I accept your apology.
Oh, so cool.
That's beautiful.
We spoke about it in private. I gave you a pass in public. And I have a way of doing things. When somebody does something to me in public, I expect the apology to be public. I told you what I felt. You're new at this, but it takes a man to apologize to another man. So I appreciate you apologizing. I have much more respect for you now. Well, I had respect for you the day you caught that line drive in the outfield that you almost got your face ripped off. I had an immense amount of respect that day. Say again?
The trees.
I don't know anything about the trees.
Oh, but never mind.
So thank you for that, because there was gonna be some furniture moving up in this mode. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, Ian, my Christian brother.
All right. All right, anybody else? Got anything else?
Anybody else want to apologize?
Anybody else?
Sorry if anybody.
All right.
Who
Anybody think about running for mayor? Who's arrested for DUI?
Elderly Service Program Report? None. Special Project Report? None. Building and Zoning Report?
Attached.
Sirs, it's attached? Attached.
Every month.
Finance Report?
Negative.
Nah. City Clerk Report?
Attached.
Attached. Human Resource Report?
Negative.
Unfinished business? New business?
Good of the order.
Adjourn.
Move.
Everybody in favor?
Good job, Mr. President.
Served.
All right, guys, study that or
Adjourn.